kind of like opened my eyes to a lot of things.
Oh no.
Okay, for one, the fact that they like after all of this pressure, they were like, "Nah, we're not gonna let any Palestinians speak. Get the out of here."
That's like the most obvious thing in the universe. That's the most obvious thing. It would be like letting a cop speak at an Antifa rally. Like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. The Hamas chants, the Houthi slogan signs, the insane, all the sloganeering, you with the Houthi interviews, like what? Yeah, what do you think? Like, well, okay, well, can you just let one of us? Can you just let one of us on stage come and just like, well, you could vet us for? Yeah, no shit. You guys acted like insane people. Why the would you ever expect to have a seat at the table with the grown-ups? How would an unfathomably crazy state? That would be like me being indignant that Barack Obama and Biden won't sit down with me for an interview because you're mad at some tweets. Really? Come on. Okay. Who cares? You guys are old. All right. We've all a few kids in a video game. Them over in a video game. Hello. In Call of Duty. All right.
They were like, "No, sorry, we have a cop who literally was doing DIY like sex trafficking operations and investigations with a right-wing nut job."
Wait, what? Did I miss the sex trafficking training course? Hello? I didn't know they invited Andrew Tate to speak.
Job. Okay, that guy has to speak. We have a former Trump Republican that is like an MSNBC fan favorite. That guy has to speak. If you're like a lifelong Democrat that happens to be Palestinian, you know what I mean? Sorry, sucks to suck. You ain't got. It's so racist. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. I'm sorry. It is what it is. That's just straight white supremacist ass bull. Okay.
Yes, King. Yes.
This guy's such a joke.
White
He's malding because he got kicked out of the DNC.
Yes. Yes.
For being
Kamala,
a pathetic
Kami
loser.
Mommy, come on stage and talk to me, and then Obama could come afterwards, and then Oprah. We can all talk about white supremacy. Yes. Yes.
It's so funny.
You can.
To be fair, I don't think he should have been kicked out, but it's still funny.
Chauvinism right there. That's.
It is dressed up. Thank God. I'm glad they got the blacks here to save us from our white supremacist guilt. Thank God. Hell yes.
Western chauvinism.
You know, that's the only reason they have the blacks at this event, right? Is to just save us from our white supremacist guilt.
That is bullshit. Okay? That's gross as. It's racist as. It doesn't matter if the candidate is black. It's still in white supremacy through and through. Okay?
I know he didn't just appropriate the black woman sassy clap. Did he just do that? Oof. Somebody better talk to him.
The Democratic Party said tonight and the day prior, we got billionaires. We're going to bring them on to the center stage. We got former Trump Republicans. We're going to bring them onto the center stage. Okay? We got psycho cops. We're going to bring them on in. What? Hoflav unironically said this? What?
This is so awesome. Celebrities are usually
This guy gets his news from TikTok and Twitter too, man. I don't understand how he has like this giant. Well, I do understand because people are retards, but
it's
like the fact that we keep
ridiculous, dude. You got Pizzagate cops and shit out there
putting on a pedestal the dumbest people on the planet.
Nuts, bro. Yeah, we're gonna
Does Hassan want Kamala to lose? What's the point of this grandstanding? He's a tanky. Tankies don't give a happens for the political system because most of them are insulated. 99% of them are insulated from any of the actual stuff that happens on the political level because they tend to be affluent, they tend to be white, they tend to live in like decent communities where everything's already taken care of for them. So it doesn't matter one way or another who the president is. So all they have to really talk about are kind of like the pet issues that are important to them. So like Israel-Palestine will be an important issue. They don't actually give a anything that happens. None of the other domestic policies matter. They just let you find a pet issue, and then this is the thing that you fixate on to separate yourself from the unwashed masses.
Look up the migrants, and we're putting them on the center stage. But you don't got a moment for Palestinian Americans. You don't got a moment for Palestinian Americans, dude. That's crazy. That's unacceptable. That's white supremacy. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
White supremacy. Bro, nobody cares about Palestinians, dude. Like, literally, nobody cares about Palestinian and Israel. It's just some virtue signal nonsense, dude. Nobody gives a fuck. Is it anywhere near us? No? Then I don't give a fuck. That's the baseline of, like, 99% of humanity, dude. And they know this, right? It's all performative.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big time, small time, shit talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
White supremacy? Come on, dude. That's a stretch. Listen up, big dog. I use a different terminology there for your fucking stupid ass brain to handle it. Okay? I'm you.
He's so. This guy is such a bitch, dude. He's always so fucking. Like, he's literally molding because he got kicked out of the DNC. It's like, oh, white supremacy, Nazi, blah, blah, blah. Bro. Just accept the fact that everyone thinks you're a fucking lol cow. Even the DNC was like, yo, get this fucking imbecile out of here, dude. He's giving us a bad fucking name. Like, and they did it on his stream. Like, it was live. People saw it happen live. Oh, he was molding so fucking hard. He's still molding. It's fantastic. I love this. I have like a massive amount of Schadenfreude right now.
Using white supremacy so your fucking dumb mouth breathing ass can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. It's called American jingoism. Okay? It's Western chauvinism. Do you understand what is happening here?
And then I can just throw out buzzwords.
Chauvin's literally in jail for killing Floyd. What the f are you talking about?
Do you get what the Democratic Party is also playing a role? Do you understand what the Democratic Party there is doing? When they say, we don't give a f. If you're Palestinian, you shut the f up, okay? If you're a goddamn Palestinian, here are all the other people that are more important for us than you, okay? Literally every single person in the Democratic Party's infrastructure, and then people outside of that infrastructure. Cops,
fuck's sake.
Border Patrol agents, billionaires that are not even in the Democratic Party. You're a lifelong Democrat. You spent your whole time, you spent your whole goddamn life fighting for the Democratic Party. You're a fucking state, you're a part of the state apparatus in your own goddamn state, okay? And they say, F you.
Like, he's so fucking mad right now internally that he can't even get a fucking sentence out without stumbling.
Palestinian, we don't want to hear from you, okay?
You guys are literally outside protesting the event. Like, you can't have a storm of insane protests and riots and, you know, just like shitting and pissing and crying and coming in your own mouths for months and months, and then
I think Hassan is secretly a Republican stooge. Like, he's a plant.
I see a fortress of
because if you do what he says, you would give the Republicans so many votes.
And then at the end be like, well, can we have a seat at the table now? Can we come talk? Can we come talk now? No. Like, I talked with Dan about this last night. What's happening is the worst case scenario, by the way. If you're an outsider, if you're a radical, the worst case scenario is not that your party ignores you and loses. It's that your party ignores you and wins. Because now you've lost all your leverage.
What is this?
Like, oh, you win elections without you. Well, have fun out in the cold, I guess. Because who the f is going to listen to you now? You've lost everything. Like, you deserve this. This is the gamble that you made. Like, yeah.
Suck my. There's no way to. There is no way to look at this in any other lens. Okay.
About a secure retirement for themselves.
Bullshit.
Can I ask you? Hi, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Why are you flying a Hezbollah flag?
Because I support Hezbollah, Hamas, the PLO. I support China, Russia.
Right.
I support North Korea. I don't support America.
This can't be real. Okay, this is a meme, right? He's even got the f***ing Pomeranian. This is a meme, right?
North Korea. I don't support
Why do you
America.
support terror policies?
Because America is a terrorist state, and so is Israel.
Well, you can disagree with American foreign policy, but this is literally a flag of a terrorist
He's a
state.
no neo-Nazi.
I'm pro-Palestine.
If you wish to fight with our clan, we welcome you to receive our blessings. Reach out to the shamans.
And you deserved it. You found the most based guy.
Wisdom of this land and the ancestors that came.
Maybe if you say to your question neutrally, as in your tweet.
I can
You already
feel it.
judged him. Why should he
This
speak to anyone who
land
does that?
speaks to me, but in a language
Or
I've
fly
not
that
yet.
flag.
Kamala's a fascist. You're a
What do you know
fascist.
about Hezbollah?
You're a fascist.
What do you know about
I'm still
Hezbollah? What do you know about
That they
Hezbollah?
kill Americans who occupy countries.
Tell my
they
husband I will
shouldn't be.
defend the town.
The spirits will never abandon you. Warriors.
You seem like a major bootlicker.
Today, the tide
Liquor.
turns.
Liquor. Sorry.
Duratan,
Jesus.
your brother has already rushed
He
ahead.
meant fashionable.
Gnar is a great
I mean, you
fighter.
got destroyed. Why would you post a video that makes you so obviously look bad?
He never listens. His ruthlessness may cost
Hezbollah
us.
is not a terrorist group. I don't even, how many of these are bots?
First grade teacher would show
Oh no.
up at law school graduation.
Do you think she even brought up Palestine when she was in grade school? I don't get the not black attacks. If you're half black, can't you call yourself black? The nice thing about being a half breed, the nice thing about being halfy, about being a mixed person, is everybody can hate you for whatever reason they want. That's the amazing thing. Alright? If you're mixed,
No, I get relentless.
your pure bloods will hate you for not being pure enough, and white people will always hate you for not being white. So you get to reign in the best of all worlds. Do you know how tough my life has been as a Cuban American and all the Hispanic discrimination that I faced?
Gormal Tower. This
Every
will
single
be
day
our
when I show up to gym
foothold.
tired because I was busy
Leave
working
none alive.
in the cornfields for the entirety of the last night up till 4 a.m. to help feed my family. And people are like, oh, look,
The battle is
here's
joined.
Esteban. He's sad today because it's not swim class in gym because that's the only thing this Cuban can do. They didn't call me Cuban. They said other words that I can't repeat. Every single day I got that. And then when I went to hang out with my Cuban friends, they would call me a sellout white devil. I'm sorry. I'm doing to remember that the left shit on Obama in similar ways back in 2008. Radicals didn't show up. Radicals weren't. There were no radical people at school in 2008. I don't know why. Where were they? I feel like we're the Ron Paul fans. Were there far left people in America? There must have been. Where were they? Why don't I remember anything? Maybe they existed, but because I was a Republican, all the left was far left to me in 2008.
There's a mailbox
I was
here.
a Ron Paul stan.
What?
I probably actually thought Obama was a communist. So yeah, who knows? Yeah, there also is no Twitter, so who the f knows? Oh, true. Actually, maybe. I bet you could study that. People had other identities, like emo and punk.
No, that was
and
like
they were scene kids
2016.
and stuff like that. But you didn't have to do like politics. You just had like you might have been like a little sceney or whatever. You didn't have to have a political. Now, every
the Tea
label you
Party?
have is it has to be political and trans apparently. Like so maybe it's now you're now all of those groups also. Right, you might go to I don't know, never mind, actually. But they're all like everything's so much more political these days. Everybody's supposed to have opinions about fucking every single political issue if you're part of any like subculture. I don't know why. It's cringe. Why do you call the Supreme Court Justice Lady Amy instead of her surname? She has a weird. It's not a good surname. It's a masculine first name. It's just weird. Hey, it's Barrett. What? Does she have a gun grafted onto her arm? What do you mean, Barrett? Amy. Okay.
You always worry?
What the? Did she say the F word? Does someone like Hassan support if it isn't Kamala? Why does this mouse have so many problems? Yeah, I don't know. Whoever can't win, you always. If you're a radical, you always have to support people who can't win because you can never ever win because you have nothing left to complain about. The worst thing you could ever do is support somebody that could ever be popular. So just find whoever it is that has no shot in hell of winning that vaguely resembles your policy position and support those. That's it.
I hope what happens to the Palestinian families never happens to your fucking bitch ass family, okay?
I need a target. The tower.
That's not even what I'm talking about. But his racist ass immediately went, the Palestinians won't win us. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because why would we think that you were talking about Palestinians when you were earlier complaining about a lack of Palestinian speakers and then white supremacy? Why would we think about that? True. What an idiotic chatter. Good ban, Hassan. I hate streamers that fucking ban chatters just for disagreeing with them. That's why we have this is why we live in a ban-free zone in my chats. I've never banned a chatter. Ever. For lodging a simple disagreement in chat. Ever. Hassan is a fragile child who's fat.
Yeah, of course I'm gonna ban.
Of course.
Loser.
True.
I forgot the banner.
Democrats are so lucky that they're running against a party that has like forgotten how to fucking run for office. Okay.
It's kind of hard to talk about this without it being a little weird, but like, so one interesting thing is black culture drives a lot of world culture because by virtue of it being American and by virtue of America having like loud culture, like black culture drives so much stuff, especially in terms of music. It is kind of cool since we have like a black future president, hopefully, that you can capitalize on a lot of the, there's like a lot of the black music and the black like gospel stuff and like, hip hop, like all of that aesthetic is a lot more hype than like the country music aesthetic. Sometimes my country music fans out there, but since we have a black league, we can really capitalize on that. Listen, okay. Do you know how expensive nuclear weapons are? If you see a person getting nuked, it's because there's a whole bunch of ISR. That stands for Intel Surveillance and Recon, and they knew it was a bad guy. Even if he doesn't seem like a bad guy, if they're spending that much to go after him, you knew. Okay, you know he did some fucked up shit. Okay, this is a known bad person. Right. Something was going on. Something was going on here. You didn't even recognize Beyonce on Time Gasser? Because I was on Fresh and Fit. Nobody would date Beyonce. She's too old. I would much rather the 19-year-old lady who works at Starbucks because she's nubile and fertile and mobile. I can kick her the fuck out when I'm bringing over a younger, hotter 18-year-old who's more nubile and mobile.
Again, I forgot again.
And fertile. What is the story behind this? Did I spell accidental wrong? Why?
No, Kamala will mention ceasefire.
God, also, I just want to say one more thing, and I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Come with me for 5 seconds, okay? 5 seconds, okay? My black brothers and sisters, all right? I will be racist, okay? Because I do hate minorities, okay? I will be racist again, okay? But just let me be woke for 2 seconds. It is so unfair how perfect black people have to be on a stage this big. That you have Michelle, Barack Obama. That you've got like, they have to be wholesome. They've got to have like, it's the most perfect lives they can. If I swear to God, if a black man got on stage who was on his like 3rd or 4th fucking marriage, if you could imagine Barack Obama fucking porn stars while his wife was at home with a newborn, bro, it would be a field day. There would be, first of all, there would be mass panic among Republican operatives because they would be like, we are out of a job because the attack ads will write themselves. We don't even need to be hired anymore. Like, Barack Obama was Stormy Dan, like, it would be like, imagine if the grab him by the pussy.
See, here's where I think that's this. They did that to Trump, though. Like, what you're saying. So they would do exactly what they did to Trump. Gotcha. Like, what's your point here, bro?
Clip came out for Barack Obama, it would be like we've just been greenlit for the N-word, sir. We can go all out. Okay, it's over for this motherfucker. It is so crazy. Dan made that comment last night. It's destroying my mind. That Andrew Tate shit is wild. If there was any, this guy is loved by all the fucking Republican people, the Andrew Tate dude, by like 80% of them. And it's like he's on camera doing a full tutorial on how to scam, rape, and sex traffic little girls. And it's just like, well, not everything is bad. There's some good that can be taken out of that, right? Are you, what the f? Why'd you go so baby gloves on the Harvard PhD guy? I got on your behalf. It's hard to communicate to somebody why. It's hard to communicate in the middle of the debate why you can't just use a couple quotes to prove something. And when I started to explain that, it just sounds like a quote. So I tune out of the stop caring. It's just hard to, it's irritating to like, well, here's 2 quotes. And it's like, oh, fuck me. Like, what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, here's a quote. Somebody suggested, maybe I should just find the opposite quotes. Like, okay, well, what about this quote when they said, oh, well, we could live with the Arabs peacefully. Now what? It's just retarded. You should have an analogy for that ready. Well, I would imagine the counter would be, okay, well, fine. You've got all these quotes that say this thing. Okay, well, let's look at the actual historical record. Let's look at the actions. Why did they agree to this agreement? But then they hit you up with, well, actually. They didn't mean it. Oh, fuck. Well, fuck me. Fuck me, fam. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. What was I thinking? Of course, it was a fake agreement that they'd said in front of the whole world. Why didn't I think of that? Then you know what the Arabs should have done. It's funny because I forgot all their names. The enemy even calls us out in the report. He says the Arabs should have just called the Israeli bluff because some of them might have had fake agreement. The Israelis might have said some things knowing that the Arabs would say no out of hand, right? I don't know if it was. I don't know if Israel would have actually accepted 100 to 200,000 Palestinian refugees. I'm not sure. That could be like the day one peace offering that Hamas made after October 7th. Where they're like, okay, can we peace? Because there's still people like in your country that we need to like extract. Not that they would give a fuck about extracting, but like. But then the Arabs should have called their bluff. The Arabs should have been like, okay, fine, 200,000 Arabs, fucking A, dude. All right, take it. We're chill, and then see what the Jews do next. But the Arabs couldn't do politics. I don't know why. I don't know enough about, I don't know enough about the history to know why. My guess is just when you've been that dominant and like a huge empire for so long and other people have ran your... Well, because I guess for a long time, technically the Turks ran politics with the Arabs, right? Because they were kind of the ones in charge of at least the Ottoman Empire, right? So maybe, I don't know, maybe they forgot. Politicking was a lost art. Is the Sam Harris convo streamed or podcast? Don't ask about it. I don't know when it's coming out. I'm supposed to talk today at 3. And they were making me drive to a studio. I don't know why. I said I could record at home. And they were like, we prefer our people go to a studio. So I've got to drive 12 minutes. Okay, fuck me. And then it'll probably be released in 7 years, since that's what everybody's timetable is like.
This is
also, I've never had anybody. That guy, he did the best appeal to authority. I've never had somebody do this before. Usually, when people say they're a doctor, usually they're faking being a doctor, so they can say some bullshit medical stuff, but they have like a PhD in English. This guy was an MD who was using his doctor as a physician to fake having a PhD in history. Who does that? Because he says he has like a PhD in history. He says PhD in history or whatever. And that's why I said in the video, I was like, hold on, why you coach as a doctor? You're not done with you haven't defended your thesis yet, though. And he's like, oh, well, I'm a medical doctor. Well, okay, sure, but like, that's kind of disingenuous, all right? If you were in a hall full of history students, like I really needed help defending his history thesis, and he says, is anyone here a doctor? He's not looking for you, loser, okay? Wasn't it religious something? Well, it was a PhD in religious studies, which I imagine might have some overlap with history. Who knows? But oh yeah, one of his citations were to Chomsky as an expert in Israel Palestine. Bro, I don't even know if Chomsky would cite himself as an expert there. In fact, I'm willing to bet that if we were to go and find that book, Chomsky was probably citing somebody else. That'd be my guess. I don't think he's done any original research or anything. He weaseled on the Dhimmi second class stuff. There's a whole world of like arguments over how bad the Dhimmi status was, and I've seen it on both extremes. I've seen all the way from actually being a Dhimmi was based because you don't have to serve in the military. Your jizya, okay, which is the tax you pay, was only 15%, which was the same or less than what the ordinary citizens paid, and you got your own protected area. Awesome. That's like one version of Dhimmi status I've read. And then the second version was Dhimmi status was humiliating and terrible because anytime you were in a non-Dhimmi protected area, like for instance, I think there were rules, I haven't studied this in depth, so this is all 10% confidence, okay? But like, if you weren't allowed to ever ride a camel, okay? So you had to walk or ride donkeys, because you were a user, I guess. If you walked in front of like mosques, I think you had to like take your sandals off. You might have had to wall past, or you could make eye contact with Muslims. There was a whole bunch of like cringe rules, supposedly. So I've heard both ends. I don't know how bad or how good
it's like in the middle of my screen. I wasn't looking at it at all.
Probably very complicated because Jews were second class in Europe too, so probably varied throughout time. Yeah, but it was different because Europe acknowledges that Jews were second class, and they kind of Holocaust. So they're like, yeah, we kind of fucked you guys over. But like Arabs today, you talk to them, and they're like, oh, Arabs and Jews? Let me tell you, there's never been a longer friendship in history than that of the Arab and the Jew. When the Jews were persecuted in Europe, they came to us and we welcomed them with open arms. We protected them with Dhimmi status. We didn't let other people hurt them. we were the best friend of the Jew when we were so friendly with them. So many of them became Muslim in a video game. But anyway.
Please, thank you so very much.
Why am I so much louder than the video? Because Hassan's stream volume is quiet. Because you guys are weird. You guys are very queer, and I mean that not in the sexually insulting sense, but in the you guys are, look, go watch this video. You guys are the most weird audio fucking losers on the internet. Every other thing I watch, this is so quiet, and you guys are telling me I'm too quiet. Okay, there's probably still people that say I'm too quiet. I think it's a bot network. I think that there's a lot of you guys that are plugged into some crazy bot network, and it's like every single year we're gonna get Destiny to bump his stream volume by like 2 decibel. Okay, you're literally doing the Dwight quarters in the phone prank to me, and now here we are in 2024. I probably have the loudest fucking stream on the internet, and you're like, we can barely fucking hear you, dude. We can barely fucking hear you. And then I go listen to this shit, and it's like there's no volume. This is max. This volume is maxed out, and I can barely hear this guy. They're like related brothers, right? I think I get this one. I think you have to give me this one. You have to give me this one. I think so. Hold on, we're pulling this one. We're pulling this one. They could absolutely be brothers. Brothers? Question mark? Yes. You guys, 30%. You guys just do this shit to troll me. Okay. You do this shit to troll me. He's much closer to Tom Hanks? What? What are you talking about? You know what? 35%. I'll take it.
To our President Joe Biden.
Why did they? That's working the cameras. I think that's Joe. That's Joe and Jill, right? I don't want to do the weird, no creepy sexual comments or whatever. Okay. The picture, the one picture of her was really bad. This is the one that Hanania? Is that his name? Richard? Was saying, look, she looks very nice. She's like really well put together. This is nice. Damn, he did her real dirty with that one, with the still on the video. He did her super dirty.
He made her president.
And to Coach Chim.
Kamala's president? Already? Awesome. Nice. When Hassan is doing his homework, he doesn't have to figure out his own talking points. He just steal them from conservatives. Yes. King. This guy is like a vibe Gandhi. He's just, God, he's such good vibes. He's such a good. Walls is the kind of guy where there's a tragedy and he's like a hardcore atheist, but he still leads the group in prayer. He's just like, I don't know why, you just got these
I will stay
unbelievably
here and help with the
transcendent
slaves
vibes.
And to the delegates and everyone
think he's
who
creepy.
has put your faith in our campaign.
Walls is the kind of guy who comes back from war with a bastard child that's not even his bastard. Covers for the child because he knows that if the king found out the truth of where the child is.
Your support is
Political bias. The hell of a thing.
America. The path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So, our mother, Shamla Harris, had one of her own. And I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I miss her looking down smiling. I know that. So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India.
Sorry, fuck. She brought up her mom. Text your mom. Tell your moms. We're pausing right now. Tell your moms you love them, okay? Hold on.
Come, brother. We press the attack.
To California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer.
My mom might think it's my special goodbye message if I say that out of the blue. Whatever you made her. Jesus Christ. Jesus. We don't need you bringing down.
Whenever you hear Kamal speaking, that's actually Harris, Hamas Spiker's content. He's eating. Not doing anything except for that, just eating. Like, no comment, no nothing. Not even playing a game, just eating. Eating full screen. So insane.
Honored if you continue to fight by our side.
On the energy of chat like that, actually. Okay, that was wholly inappropriate. We don't need you bringing down our vibes. Wait, does anybody have the? Who was the Twitch streamer where that happened? Oh, it was this.
And it's chef's in Spanish, and it's chef's kiss. All right.
I think it was this.
Kirby, where the fuck have you been? Oh my God. Well, tell you what, Miss Dirty Kirby, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to talk about it in my chat.
He was like, "Where have you been?" And the guy was like, "I think his mom died or something." It was something depressing. And he was like, "Bro."
Kirby, you know what we're not going to do?
He didn't understand. It was like when you asked me, like, "Hey, dude, what's up? How's it going?" And the guy's like, "It's actually going really bad right now. I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of considering killing myself." And you're like, "Bro, I was just asking that. It's like a formality. I don't actually give a fuck." You're supposed to say, "Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?" And then we just go on with our day. Why the fuck would you answer that with sincerity? Are you fucking retarded? You should.
We're not going to talk about
That's
it
why
in
I
the chat,
answered with sincerity.
because it's Friday, and that is a whole big bucket of bummer. And I'm so
Bucket of bummer, bro. That's a Monday message. That's a Monday message. You shouldn't be telling me you're sad your mom is dead. For Friday, you should be telling me how much fun you had at the funeral, bro.
and I'm sorry for your loss. but we're
Clearly, you're
doing
not.
that in my fucking chat.
God, if I ever use phrases like bucket of bummer, oh my God. Oh no.
Bro, how did these people get, like, these people are so fucking fake, you know? How did these people get fucking... Is it because they fake? Should I make, like, a fake personality and not show you the real me? Like, I feel like I should. Right, I should make some fake personality, and then you can get away with, like, a bunch of shit, dude. Hell, apparently you can message a minor and then come back. All you need is a fake personality.
Thank you. Well, okay, Miss Dirty Kirby, you said no, that's fine. You asked, so I told. No, I didn't ask you to tell me the biggest fucking bummer news in the world. I said, hey, what's up? How are you? You know what? Let me give you a little bit of a lesson, Miss Nerdy Kirby. When something
Bro, he
really,
doesn't
really
stop, man. He does not stop. Holy fucking shit. I've never seen this kid before, by the way. That is crazy, dude. You'd be like, yeah, I did ask. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, well, first of all, you wouldn't even respond in that way. But you wouldn't double down on it either. What the fuck, bro? Holy fucking shit, dude. I swear to God, these people are like the worst society has to offer. And we put them on a pedestal. He's like, I'll never make it in Twitchlandia. You know why? Because I'm not a piece of shit. Like, it feels like that. That really is what it feels like.
bad is going on in your life, and in a public forum, someone asks you, hey, what's up, how are you? There are two acceptable responses. Good, and you know what? I'll make it through. That's it. How are you? Good, or you know what? I'll make it through. Awesome, love to hear it.
Bro, does this guy not realize that when you ask how are you and someone like literally trauma dumps, like, well, not trauma dumps, it's not even a trauma dump, you literally just said like, wow, man, I wasn't here because my fucking mom died. I forgot where my point was going. I'm getting annoyed by this guy. I'm actually getting slightly angry. What was I fucking, what was I gonna say?
But we are not fooled. Your clans are clearly in league with one another for the glory.
Yeah, it's like all she wanted to hear, or it's Miss Kirby might be a dude still online. All they wanted to hear was like, "Oh shit, dude, that sucks. I hope you get through it. You know, I hope you, well, feel bitter is not a, you know, you don't really feel bitter. I know that from my dad passing away. But yeah, you don't react like this, dude. What a fucking douchebag. Terrible ass shit human being. And that's a guy that makes his money on Twitch.
It's too far.
I think it's outrageous, the people that we elevate into positions.
See, there you go. Or Prom's response. Yeah, I said, Prom, how are you doing? She says, I'm alive.
Stop them.
There you go.
So cringe, bro. What a terrible human being.
I asked you where you were. Look, Mr. Kirby. I'm just subtly trying to tell you that
Subtly.
unloading really heavy news in people's chats on Twitch is not like good etiquette. It's
good etiquette. Bro, this guy has a stick up his ass. I feel like he should get 3-day ban for this shit. Obviously he shouldn't, but how else is he gonna learn that he's a terrible human fucking being? Holy fucking shit, dude. You couldn't have, like, a modicum of subtlety? How about you just go, oh shit, I'm really sorry to hear that. Let's move on to a different subject that'll make you more happy. Let's entertain you. Boom, bro! You win fucking moral points because you're like empathetic. The fucking person that in question can then, like, you know, try and, like, obviously you gave the subtle hint. That's a subtle hint, like, whoa, maybe not in the chat, man. Holy fuck. Right? I would even say, yo, if you want to talk about it, message me privately. I will open 100%, dude. Especially because clearly it's one of is a regular viewer, right? 100% I would do that. But to react like this is an outrage beyond belief, bro. Holy fucking shit. This was 2 years ago, apparently, but that doesn't matter. I never seen this video, right? This is new to me, and I'm responding to it. This guy is a fucking scumbag, dude. Holy shit, how about a modicum of tact? Do you not know how to deal with people in real life? Clearly not, though, right? Jesus fucking Christ. I'm actually annoyed. I'm actually fucking annoyed.
Not the place to do it. That's all I'm trying to tell you. That's it. I figured this is a good opportunity to inform you.
Holy fuck.
He is right. He is correct. He's just saying it in the most autistic way possible. Because then, it should be like stream reception. Or I guess it is stream reception right now. Hey, buddy, when somebody says something that's over the top and real awkward, what you should say is, wow, your mom died? That's pretty heavy. I'm really sorry for you, though. I hope you're doing better. And then if you want, you can chastise them later. Okay, you can email them or type in chat like, hey, that was pretty heavy for chat, okay? Chill. He is correct, though.
Your mom died? Damn, it's a shame it wasn't you. Anyway, she was a wonderful woman. Thanks, Panther Piss. I'm just messing around. But it was unnecessary for you to share that worthless comment with us. And everything I said that in response to the comment was accurate.
Who do you think has more to lose during the debate on September 10th? Do you think a second debate should happen or just the one? I feel like the Dems have more to lose right now.
Then you have Aries, who doesn't give a fuck ever.
But if Kamala does really well in that debate, that's going to be brutal for the Trump campaign. But they're definitely really far ahead, or it feels like at least they're really far ahead right now. But I mean, the polling is still pretty close. It's not like she's like annihilating Trump in the polls in any of the swing states or anything. But do you think it's good that Kamala is leaning so hard on feminism? Don't you think most voters would be past that at this point and just find it grating? Absolutely not. I think that things relating to like women's involvement in society is a really big deal. Women are half the population. Well, isn't it like 52%? Women are a big chunk of the population. They're a big chunk of your voter base. And abortion is a huge issue for why people are going to be like motivated to vote in the upcoming election. So leaning into issues like this is probably really important. Like, why do people care so much about Kamala being Indian? The exact same people. This is all you need to know. There are very few times on the stream where I say just absolute fundamental truths of like the shape, the contours of reality. This is one of those times. Every single person who says that Kamala Harris isn't really black, she's Indian, would probably make a joke calling her the N-word. So it's a delusional talking point from the right to, I don't even know what the goal is. That like they can, I don't even know what the end game is there. It's just the most like desperate pearl clutching attempt to try to attack her on some like retardedly stupid point. They are saying that she plays whatever side benefits her in the instance. I mean, like,
yeah, she's a politician.
Even if I were to agree that she does that, that's not even like necessarily a bad thing. Like different parts of your background will come up depending upon what you're talking about, right? Like if I were to meet friends that were one thing I didn't realize, I went to some libertarian conference. I actually made a few friends that I still have to this day a long time ago. I didn't realize how common it was that Cubans one, there's a lot of Cubans in Florida, or how common the Hialeah experiences were. I didn't know that was like a super common Cuban thing. 'Cause I think it was like the first time in my life, like 3 years ago. I met a bunch of Cubans at like a libertarian conference, and it was just funny sharing stories from this area. But like, if you were to hear me talking about that, we'd be like, oh, so now you're gonna pretend to be Cuban because there are Cubans around? It's like, well, no. But I mean, like, this is what's coming up now. Or if I were to talk about like stupid things that like boring white middle class families are like, oh, so now you're white today? It's like, well, no, it's just this is the context of the conversation, right? Unless you've got video of somebody talking to Kamala and she's like, I'm not black. I would never be black. I'm Indian. I'm proud of it.
I am
the
here.
blacks. Like, unless you've got video footage like that, what the fuck is even the attack? You talk about different things in your background depending upon like what the context is. Like, it's so stupid. So what character attack could the conservatives make against her that isn't sexist, racist, weird, misogynistic, etc.? It sounds like she has the perfect armor. She has the perfect armor? By being black and a woman? Like, those are the only two things you can consider? What do you mean? The problem is, here's the real problem that you have right now, if you're a conservative, is that right now, the Democratic candidates are just better humans. They are better people, objectively. Like, if everybody were to die and you were before the pearly gates and St. Peter has to decide who's going into heaven or who's going into hell, the Republican candidates are fucked, right? You've got Joe Biden, all right, who the Republicans try to shame by showing, what is the... Where they try and blow up Joe Biden over leaked texts between him and his son?
I gotta get some help. I don't know what to do. It's Dad. I called to tell you I love you. I love you more than the whole world, pal. I gotta get some help. I don't know what to do. I know you don't either, but I'm here no matter what you need. No matter what you need. I love you.
Start with.
It's gotta be. It's like one of the most. Thankfully, my kid's not addicted to drugs yet. Watching other parents do this, probably one of the most frustrating, not humiliating, like disempowering, hopeless feelings you can have is to have an adult child that's struggling in life, because you can't do anything as a parent. You can't control them. You can't forcibly like you're grounded. You're not going out. You can't do anything but stand by and watch your child basically suffer. There's nothing you can do as a parent. It is the most helpless feeling, and hopeless and horrible feeling that you can have. But like everything that's leaked about Joe Biden and Hunter just shows Joe being like, I feel like I've read these before. The only focus is recovery, nothing else. Your girls are so smart, truly amazing, very focused. Naomi very upset with Kay. When you feel it, or you can, you know, positive my text. Let me know who you are. Can I see you? You need to talk about 2020. What do you think? I love you, Dad. Like everything that's ever leaked about Joe Biden just makes him seem like a nice guy and a super loving dad. And then I don't think there's anything crazy in Kamala Harris's background that so then what happens is, and then you have to compare this to Donald Trump, who, no offense, seems kind of like he's funny, but he's kind of like he's not a very good person. He's just not. I'm sorry, but he's not. He seems like very egocentric, very self-driven, very little loyalty to family or friends. Bad business partner. A lot of people that work with him like disavow him. Don't want to work with him again. Like, he's just not a good person. So yeah. So when you're stuck in that area and you're like, well, what character attacks can we make? Right? You don't really have much in your basket to go for. Like.
As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
What the fuck? Yo.
And I will fulfill
Why is he surprised? Bro, why is he surprised that she says that? This guy's. I swear, Hassan is such an imbecile. Why would you be surprised that she says that? It's the American president, right? Or the American presidential race, right? You have to say that, and you have to mean it too. There's only a small minority of people that really despise the American military in the United States.
Obligation to care for our troops and
like
their families.
That's the crazy thing that I think about how Hassan is so popular on Twitch, because he's like a massive minority, dude. Is it because he's an imbecile? I think maybe it is because he's an imbecile.
And I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
It's also insane. I don't know how intentional this is, but it is insane that the Democrats have been able to come in and sweep up what, in my mind, were the strongest Republican talking points. The support for small businesses, the patriotism, Go USA, stuff about like the military and support of US troops, white people, like the fact that the Democrats are able to come in and just like gobble up all these talking points while Trump is just like seething in the corner. Oof. Like they've capitalized on this really well, I think.
Yo, she's crazy.
What do Republicans stand for now?
This guy's such a moron.
Like, it's hard to talk about it honestly because I just sound like a shiller.
The
on
biggest
Instagram
political streamer
on
the internet, supposedly, and it doesn't even.
Right it's just
doesn't even understand
horrible bastard
how
people
that
just
shit
filled
works.
with hate and rage and see, and that's it. There's nothing positive.
How is
about
that
any
crazy?
They don't have a positive
sense
the
of the
country. They
word.
hate the country. They hate the Democrats. They hate the rest of the world. They're just filled with hatred. That's all they have. Partially because Trump hasn't been positive at all for the past 4 years. All he's talked about is how the election was stolen from him and the deep state is out to get him. But I mean, like, think about it, right? Think about it. If you live in a world where you feel like Fauci and the FDA are poisoning your food, the water has fluoride in it because the government's trying to turn the frogs in you gay. The military and all the intelligence agencies are just there to fuck you over and to spy on you and to do horrible things. Our biggest allies, like Israel, are just people that we ship our pedophiles off to after they've raped and murdered people. The courts and everything are rigged against people, your brave heroes like Donald Trump and the brave grandmas that walk through the Capitol. Every single large and major institution has been controlled and rotted from the inside by deep state operatives. The border is left open intentionally so that
There's
Chinese
always one
and
guy,
MS-13
man. Come
immigrants
on,
can flood
Joe,
in
Joe.
and take over. People like Donald Trump are constantly backstabbed at every single point and turn by either Democrats, by rhinos, by other people that are getting like every single thing in the world is out to get you, right? You're a crazy person.
Thank you.
You're an insane person. Like, imagine if you look at, like, it's a stupid question. Looking at a Republican and saying, like, damn, what's this guy's problem? It's like looking at a paranoid schizophrenic and being like, dude, what's wrong? What the fuck is wrong with you? And the paranoid schizophrenic's like, bro, what do you mean, what's wrong with me? There's a drone out there that's got like a 700x magnification lens on me that's watching my every single fucking movement. I know that there are people in my computer that are monitoring all of my online activities. Every single time I go outside, every single person that's looking at me is probably reporting on my every location or all my whereabouts, right? But the difference is Republicans actually think this without the mental illness. They just believe these things to be true. Without mental illness. So yeah, of course they're f***ing insane. Yeah, I mean, what like, yeah.
Rivers of the dead.
I will make sure
What is happening?
that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the...
Bro, she said we're going back to Iraq. He was like, I'm gonna make sure
leadership.
I'm gonna be real fucking crazy about the military.
Threatened to abandon
It's America!
NATO.
Oh my god, I
He
can't understand. Dude, this guy is
encouraged to invade
such a
our
grifter, bro.
allies.
Oh my god. Oh,
These types of talking points are also really important because the rest of the United States sees America as having schizophrenic foreign policy. Again, there are Ukrainian soldiers that are sitting in ditches watching Twitter wondering, like, are we getting aid or not, as, you know, Trump like sinks legislation to win a re-election. Or they're like, everyone around the world is like, well, what the fuck is America gonna do, because everybody kind of follows our lead on shit, and there's like everybody in the world is like, well, I don't know, who the fuck knows, right? I think Angela Merkel said it right after Trump was elected, that America can't be seen as a reliable leader of the world anymore. What did she say? We grew up in the certain knowledge that the United States wanted to be a world power. Should the U.S. now wish to withdraw from that role of its own free will, we would have to reflect on that very deeply.
Both presidents are bad for the rest of the world. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, like the whole
Trump
world
or
doesn't know.
Kamala.
You can't rely on the superpower, the United States. Be careful.
oh my god, she's doing the NATO
Whatever
speech.
the hell they
Oh my god, she's
want.
doing the NATO speech. Oh my god. Oh my god.
5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize a global response.
Like, remember,
over
this is the
50
guy.
Ancestors of the Shadow Moon.
Shit.
Shine in the darkness.
Oh my god. This is the guy that was like, oh, Ukraine's not getting invaded by Russia. What are you talking about? Clearly that's not gonna happen. Oh guys, it's day 4 of Russia not invading Ukraine, and then Ukraine got invaded by Russia, and all of a sudden, he didn't even say that he was wrong, dude. Like he never even acknowledged that shit. Like this guy's a fucking imbecile, dude. Like, or with the JDAM. Like literally shows a JDAM explosion, then shows the explosion in the thing, and it's like, oh, that looks the same. Yeah, one explosion looks like the other. Yes, Hassan. Like brilliant fucking intellectual deduction. This guy's a fucking imbecile, dude. Like, I can't. I just can't, bro.
As president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. With respect to the war in Gaza,
Your undying soul.
President Biden and I are
Oh no, something. It's fine. No matter what she says, it won't be good enough. Even if she says ceasefire, it's not going to be good enough.
working around the clock. Because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal.
No, hold on. What's the line of attack? If you really wanted a ceasefire, why wouldn't you bring the Palestinians to that? Or when she says ceasefire, she doesn't mean it. Or when they say ceasefire, they mean how Netanyahu wants a ceasefire. Or if you want it so bad, why hasn't it happened yet? Let's see what we get.
I'm out. I'm tapped.
I thought this is what you wanted to hear. This is what I mean also when I say lefties never want to win. It's not enough. Because as soon as you win, you've got nothing left to complain about. Remember, at the end of the day, complaining should be with the goal of motivating some sort of political change. That's why you complain. That's why you agitate. That's why you are an activist. It's because you're trying to get people to change their opinions politically. But when you're like what would you call? I don't know. I don't even want to say professional activist. When you're whatever this is, this thing called Hassan. Whenever you're this, you don't ever want to make political gains or political wins because then you lose what you lose the things to complain about, and that's all you do. You know, is complain and bitch and moan and cry about everything. That's it.
I love the fact that he was molding about the fucking the media chart too. He didn't even rank propagandist, which is what he called himself while Piers Morgan. He didn't even get that high. Like, it's hilarious. It's just straight up. The information's wrong, like all the way at the bottom. It's so funny. And it's some random chart, right? Who gives a shit? Well, apparently Hassan did, which is the funny part. Oh my god. I have to admit, right?
Terrorist?
His stupidity is quite amusing.
Oh no. She can never get my vote. Israel already killed all of its own citizens. This monster. Oh my god. I'm out, homies. Off.
I'm gonna die.
Election throw speedrun. Oh, and the talking point. Come on. Everybody rapes a little during war. What about when Israel rapes Palestinians all the time?
And the massacre.
I mean, not all the time, but they do that too.
Kamala.
Show me a war, I'll show you rape.
Bro, she is a traitor.
That doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Sorry,
don't get me wrong.
It is. Bro, she a traitor.
Okay, I thought I was going to horrific as fuck.
You are the terrorist.
And they should be punished
them
to the full extent of the law.
At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past...
You are the terrorist. Off. Right off. Her. Boo. Limfeo. I'm out. Not voting. Yo, if you are some kind of like democratic operative, what would they call you?
Agent?
You should not be okay with people like this showing up the DNC. Why would you ever want this type of toxicity? This is wild. Holocaust Harris. I saw that. Oh, we got the Zionist propaganda.
President Biden and I are working to end this war.
Horrific, disgusting.
What is he doing here? Do you think he's going through chatters looking for comments to ban? Or do you think he wants to pause here so that the stream can truly see how angry his chat is so they all know what they're supposed to feel? Why do you think he scrolls through like that?
Rape that Hamas did.
The suffering in Gaza. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that
horrific, disgusting
that
Hamas did.
Remember, all the are fake. We know that because Ryan Grimm and all of the very, very far tanky targeting websites said it was all fake. Remember that. Don't ever forget that. That never happened.
The suffering in Gaza ends.
But also, it's just, it's really sad what's happening in Gaza.
To dignity, security,
It's Uncle Dan.
Nah, this bitch sucks. What did you say? Hold on.
It's just, it's really sad what's happening in Gaza.
This bitch. And Israel's bombing them with American bombs, fleeing from who? You fool.
Special beam cannon. Masenko. Sorry.
Squad W. Sick, depraved piece of shit human.
Where am I?
KK Kamala. Eat die, you whore. Holy shit.
His chat is
that's
just
a
as unhinged
lie,
as he is,
right?
bro.
She's like, wait, Hamas killed Israeli citizens? Wait, that's a lie, right? Wait, what's she talking about? Or do you think you're talking about the... Remember, my chat is the toxic one, by the way. This is exactly why they wouldn't allow the Palestinian to speak. This is why they kicked you out, Hassan. This bitch sucks. I ain't voting again. The DNC. You, Kamal.
Nah.
Everybody who supports her, who supports this party. Like 100 Israelis have died since October 7th. Defend themselves from what?
I mean, obviously she brought up ceasefire in Gaza, so I was right, but no way she would have avoided it.
You lost my vote. Yeah, right, dude. I don't think 16-year-olds can vote. Nice try.
They know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors.
Bro.
They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because...
I'm being lazy. Somebody should screenshot all these. I would tweet this. I would tweet this to the DNC. 1,000,000%. I just tweet it out and tag whoever the... I mean, like 4 good screenshots of like this horrifying... Dude, this is unhinged. I don't expect that official association with any of the immigrant party. I'm way too edgy. I accept that. Why the would you be crying about losing interviews with mainstream Democratic politicians when you're running the biggest like hate camp for these people on the internet? Literally, that's not an exaggeration, right? He is the largest streamer on Twitch, right? Where he's been granted a monopoly by the administrative staff there, right? And with his monopoly, he uses it to just shit on like these candidates like in such an insane way. Why the would you ever do business with this person? It's insane. This speech went from mid to downright atrocious. Not a word about the horrible Israeli rapes that we know for certain happen, instead of the hypothetical Hamas rapes. You think Hamas would rape people? Don't you know that's against Islam?
Struggle. But
these are the people who wanted the reasonable Palestinian speaker, by the way.
between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs.
Also, keep in mind, Hassan is supporting these messages too, because some of these are literally tagging him, right?
Democracy and tyranny. I know where...
Where was it? Hold on. Bitch, you are easy to at Asanabi. And he's cool, just don't fight. He's literally paused his chat to read, so you know he's seeing it. You know they're sticking out there. You're like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, call her a bitch. We need more of the whore lines. Are we greenlit on the effort yet? Like, oh yeah, let's fucking go. Like, this is you see, he just looks at it like, oh yeah, cool, all right. Oh wait, people are saying that there's a fast chat thing on Twitch does this automatically. Oh, so he's not scrolling these. These are just, maybe it pauses and goes through. He should still be banned. There are still people obviously reading it, but that's still unhinged. Zionist scum, shut the fuck up. It's designed so he can read it? Is this like a custom... I don't know if that's what you have to say.
Our country with all my heart.
Start training, boys. Training for what?
Where I go.
It's not on Twitch. This is in the chat arena. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about this shit. Sorry, but who will take Kamala seriously internationally, especially compared to Trump? She seems too nice. I don't know how to like communicate this message to you guys. I'm sorry. I don't like if you're asking this question to everyone. Like, you think, like, this is the problem with you. You believe this story. You think that this story is real. If you believe that this story is real, then nothing that I say will ever convince you of anything when it comes to politics.
If you can pull up with Byron Donalds told that story, there's a clip of Byron Donalds on Sage Steele, I believe.
When we were negotiating with the Taliban, while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal. Act slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room.
Today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Like, nobody gives a about this stupid, like, you think that like the red pill is how you do foreign policy. Like, you gotta go in and be an alpha. And when they see a woman, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you bring enough pads to negotiate that you need tampons on you, little lady? Meanwhile, they're like, where's your man leader showing up with a sword? Where's Andrew Tate to come and do foreign policy? Like, bro, give me a break. There are probably Libyans, okay, who dress up as Hillary Clinton for Halloween, all right? Listen, the idea that, like, because it's a woman, it's like, it can't be scary. That's not how the world works. Golda Meir was minister of Israel for the Yom Kippur War, bro. And these are the Jews against the Arabs, okay? If anybody doesn't respect women, not that they would be Muslims, not that, I don't mean it like that, but, like, I do mean it like that. And I do mean all the implications there.
I don't think protesting is going to fix this. This is, like, kind of crazy. This is just straight up, like, blanket Joe Biden. Like, it's weird. It literally...
She's his vice president. Yeah, they're probably going to be pretty aligned politically, my dude. What do you mean?
Like, this is Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden's speech being delivered by a black woman. That's it. Like, that's the only difference.
All of us to succeed. My mother had another lesson she used to teach.
Welcome to politics.
Never let
That's like
anyone tell
the biggest political streamer on Twitch doesn't even realize.
Show them who you are.
Do you think they're like moms that are like schlicking themselves in the closet? Like, God, one day my baby girl, my little boy, he's gonna be a leader, and all these stupid quotes that I say to my kid all the time, he's gonna be on stage, he's gonna be saying these quotes. He's gonna these little phrases that I have. Oh my God! I should have my mom. I always repeat a lot of her quotes. She's like, garbage in, garbage out. You are who you hang around.
I suck.
Yeah, I feel like moms have a ton of these things.
I think it's over. Like, the momentum is gone, I think.
Yeah, bro. It's so over that she didn't pander to our very, very, very far left ideas. It's people that can't envision other minds are always so crazy to me. Like, there are things that I would like to see that would be based, but I know they should never do them because I am not the average voter. Okay? I think there should be more jokes about Donald Trump. That would be very funny. But they shouldn't do that, obviously. But it would be funny for me, but it wouldn't be good for the platform.
And on behalf of our children and our grandchildren.
I think the momentum is gone. The media will still push it as though it's beautiful, but like, it'll be like a reaction of Doug Emhoff.
Palmer talks about the suffering humanity of the Palestinian people in ways that you just don't hear from President Biden. Uh-oh. Not good. Bring this tweet up, link it in chat. Destroy Tommy Victor. Destroy
That didn't go so well.
To do what generations before us
I'm seeing signals. I'll tell you exactly what I mean in a second. After the speech is over. I hate this. This like this fake patriotism. I hate it.
I'm sorry,
like,
Sam Venerable. I love you, buddy.
The Democratic Party is like trying to do fake patriotism and also being like the war party.
Sam Venable, sorry, Venable.
Let's vote for it.
How would it be fake patriotism? They're running for the fucking president of the United
Best part is
States.
everything after this
I swear,
speech.
Wasson is such a fucking moron, bro. Drives you up the wall. He says dumb shit, man. And people think it's like, oh yeah, that's very
really important. I feel like
oh, that's very insightful, Hassan. No, it isn't. It's a fucking imbecile.
Isn't profitable? No, dude, you're delusional.
It's so patriotic. Yeah, they're running for the president of the fucking United States. Of course, it's gonna be patriotic. You fuck.
When has she ever? Kamala Harris has been in politics for, I wouldn't say that long. Okay, she was vice president for 4 years. Before that, she was a senator for a couple of years under the Trump administration in the state of California. But beyond that, she's been a fucking cop her whole life. Okay? She has very little policy. She is very.
Is every single part of the executive enforcement thing like a cop? Like an attorney, like a DA is a cop, an attorney general is a cop? Is that just like the slur for everybody associated with the executive branch of power?
Very little policy backing. That's why I've been saying I'm in a holding pattern. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see what she does. I'm gonna wait and see what she does. Okay, this speech is supposed to be the moment that she shows you what she is.
Is in trouble? Did somebody call him or shout at him? What time is this?
Is and who she is and what she's going to do. Okay, that speech is literally and nothing will fundamentally change the speech. Where the fuck is the joy? Where the fuck is the hope? Where the fuck is the goddamn momentum? She says she's gonna have the most lethal army of all time. But what are you fucking lying? Are you fucking insane? Who the This is the Democratic Party, chat. This is not the Republican Party. Why the are they turning into the 90s Republicans? I'm losing my mind. I have to whisper scream because I don't want to wake up my goddamn neighbor.
Oh, this is cute. Like when I was arguing with Hassan about Kamal and I had to be quiet because I don't want to wake up Melina's dad.
Legal action is so 5 different places. Oh, it's pretty fun. Steps to illegal property. You know about all these systemic institutional.
5 years ago, we've come full circle, boys.
Wake the fuck up. Maybe some of you were so duped by fucking brat memes, and you fucking also are like, well, it's a younger, more dynamic candidate, and that's all I wanted.
It's too far away.
I want more, okay? The only reason I was even remotely hopeful or excited about this prospect was not because Kamala Harris is a young black Indian okay? About the aesthetics, okay? Most people don't give a fuck about the aesthetics. Diversity without experience from coming from that background that translates the
diversity without experience, like having the most diverse crowd of people ever who are the most white passing, white presenting, the darkest of dark Palestinian people are the whitest of white people on the fucking planet, okay?
Aggressive policy positions doesn't mean we had this goddamn conversation, okay? You don't want a black person in power for the sheer virtue of them being black. You want them in power because they know what white supremacy is. They've experienced this, they've lived it their whole lives, and you expect them to fight against that sort of thing. That's the reason why diversity is important. Okay.
You don't think Kamala has ever experienced any sort of racial diversity in the United States of America? She was born in 1964, mind you. You don't like... Okay.
And I'm not saying she hasn't lived it. Okay? Come in here and...
Whoa, my bad. Ooh, you hit me right there. My bad.
And behave in a smart fashion. I'm not saying that at all. Barack Obama experienced it too. Okay? Doesn't matter. When you get to that position of power, if you drop all that shit, then what good are you? What difference does this make? It's just pure marketing at that point. The reason why I was excited, potentially, is because the very fact that they dropped Biden was uncharacteristic for the Democratic Party. They run scared all the time. Okay? You're trying to say she's the DI?
True. What's... Hassan's at the table, and he's like, now let me tell you. If I find a black that's actually experienced systemic racism, we could break open their skull, and we could find 3 indents for white supremacy. Right on the inside of their skull. Kamala Harris would not have those indents.
Stop trying to put racism in my mouth as I'm literally talking about white supremacy, you fucking brain-dead losers in the chat.
Was that called phrenology?
Liberals are 1 speed, bro. 1 speed.
Yeah.
Holy shit. For a brief moment, she had a lot of juice and a lot of momentum. For a lot of people, that juice and momentum came from the fact that she's young. Okay, she's younger and not a carcass. But for me, I thought, wow, the Democrats are behaving in a competent way. Okay? They're behaving in a competent fucking way. Like a competent party that wants to win. Okay? Yeah, that's good. Then something amazing happened. Where she locked herself in with a yokel. Okay? Who comes from a working class teacher background. A guy with no aspirations for higher office. A guy from the middle of the country with a progressive policy track record. That made me go, oh my god, they're really gonna own this shit. Okay, they're gonna own the shit. They're going to own a party that wants to help people. Maybe that might not translate to actual policies down the line. There's the Obama equation involved, running as a progressive and then being a neoliberal from the office. But even then, on the messaging front, they had changed something. It seemed like they had changed something. Tonight has solidified my opinion that nothing has fundamentally changed.
Hey, love the hat.
It is a good day to fight.
Hey, love the hat.
We fight together.
You know I was at the protest yesterday, right? I was at the protest 1 day ago, brother. Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say? Get out of here.
Behind the building.
You think I'm your enemy? You think I am against Palestinian emancipation? Honestly, get out of here. Child. What do you mean, honestly, no? Why are you chirping at me then?
Don't call me a fucking child.
Because you're being a child. Be an adult. Think clearly. Dumbass. Oh, he does. And I agree with him. So why the f you yelling at me? Hey, what's up? Sure.
How are you doing?
Stupid fucking
I'm doing all right.
picnic.
Thank you so much.
Even the shit he grifts for, those people don't like him. It's so funny, dude. Nobody likes Hassan, bro. Like in the real world, like nobody.
They're everything.
It's so funny to me.
We gotta do something about that. It's probably the best DNC speech, or best DNC I've gone to, because we didn't just get a new candidate with a whole new party. It went from Biden, Pelosi, to Schumer, to Harris, Walz, Moore, to Scheer, Shapiro, Whitmer, etc. It went from an old president to one led by a young, exciting core. Wow. Looks like Coach Walz has some anger issues. Somebody said that his kid was about to hit a teleprompter, and he like yanked him to the side, and people are pretending that he like abuses his kid on stage. Bro, some of the reaching that I've seen with Walz is actually so pathetic. What was the one where he was like cheering or something? His like leg was up, and I think was it Charlie Kirk that tweeted? It was like, why does he have his leg up? That's so strange. Like, bro, if you have to rewind 3 times to make the point, I think whatever your, jeez. I'm so poisoned by being like a public figure that like my gut instinct is to say this should be a crime. You should be jailed for this, or something should happen. But I guess it's not. There's something illegal. But
I thought it was inside. There was no.
Or maybe I'm just.
This is an
outside. Just feels so threatening.
Type of place.
This is Tim Walz's family. What is the point of posting this like this and saying this to your? I don't understand. Why? I can't tell if he's making fun of the fact that some of them have like casual clothes on, or if he just wants people to know what they all look like, or if they're like, what the fuck is the point?
I am here.
Looks normal. What's the problem here? Just sharing will let others find problems if there are any.
What the fuck?
Is the...
Bro, I fucking despise people, dude. Left, right.
Such a weird.
If you're a tribalist, get the fuck out of
tweet.
here.
That's so.
It's so annoying.
Kamala Harris taking a more right-wing decision, honestly, isn't necessarily the worst thing. I'm generally a progressive and anti-Israel, but if the parties continue to stray further apart, political polarization is literally going to kill our country.
Correct, bro. What is this praxis? What is this comment? This Oh my god. Cringe. Okay, we gotta get rid of this dude. We gotta get rid of this. Okay, lay into this dude, okay? No praxi here. No pragmatism here. Take him out, Hassan. Cannon loaded. It's execution time, okay?
You're literally a Nazi. I don't know.
Yes!
You're literally a Nazi.
King!
See right now, you're literally a Nazi in the next 5 to 10 years, okay?
Absolute king. Thank you. Thank you. How does he do it? He's putting Vosh to shame. Do you think Vosh has like a Nazi per day alert for Hassan, and Vosh like somebody else is bringing up Nazi comparisons in World War II Germany more than me? Perfectly normal kids. Check notes. What the fuck? Yeah, this is perfectly normal. Where is it normal for a biological woman to have hairy armpits? True. Ask European women, only 30% shave their armpits. Wait, which countries?
There's no way.
Is he talking about?
That's
What?
no
Americans
shot.
have the most fantastic myths about about Europe. If you, man, European, you guys don't, you have no idea.
As someone from Europe, that's bullshit.
Like, right? If you just come to America and ask us.
I've never even seen a woman with armpit hair in real life, bro. I'd be like, what the fuck? Sorry.
Yeah. Nobody shaves their armpits. Everybody's a communist. I feel like the saddest thing that I ever saw, not to virgin shame, but I think one of the saddest things I ever saw was it? It was a new game that came out, and the woman, to be fair, she wasn't like as big boobied and like crazy.
That's right. We were looked at
feminist,
because we had to leave.
Tits or whatever the fuck as they normally are. But I think because the graphic, the fidelity and everything, the resolution, everything is higher, you could see like the little hairs on her cheeks, and it was all these people like, oh my god, they're giving women hair in their faces now? Unbelievable. I'm like, bro. Oh no. Horizon Zero Dawn, was it that? Oh no.
To endorse you. I'm reporting that RFK Jr. is getting ready to endorse you. What does he bring to you? What have your conversations been like? What role would he have either with your campaign or in your administration?
Well, I don't want to get too much into it because you're telling me something I don't know, other than I've always been friendly with him. I've had a lot of respect for him. I think he respects me. We've had a good relationship for a long time. If he were going to endorse me, I would consider it a great honor. I think we're leading now in the polls. We're leading in the swing states. We're leading in the polls. A couple of good polls came out just now. But I would love to have his endorsement. It would be a great honor.
That's despite all the things he said about vaccine, 9/11, conspiracies. Does that reflect on you if you put him in your administration?
No, it doesn't mean administration, but certainly having his endorsement, because things that he agrees on, I also agree on. You know, there are many things that are perhaps the opposite of what you're saying, but he's a respected guy. He's done a good job. And I think he likes the job that we're doing in so many different ways. But if he endorsed me, I'd be very honored.
I feel like there was like a group of Nazi people. Somebody supported Ron Paul, and somebody asked, how do you feel about the fact that Nazis are endorsed? And his response was something like, listen, I love every endorsement I get. Just because somebody endorses me doesn't agree with their opinion. And I was like, okay. I thought it was a good answer. I don't know what the fuck Donald just said there, but I never know what Donald says. So.
We're back. I'm not doing an intro, you know?
Wait, what happened? Wait, what?
Garbrack, hold for now! Yata! No! You will be avenged! Frost Wolf blood runs thick. Speak.
Alex. Oh, it wasn't sad.
Go now! Kill the blind shaman! I'm out of range.
What's their morning, Gargra?
One's head! I need to get closer.
2 steps and then I could do it. Figures.
I need a target. I don't have a target. Call in all reinforcements. I want the she-wolf taken alive!
Out of the 800 that were not IDF, civilians, okay? Former IDF, doesn't matter, okay?
Former IDF.
A decent chunk of them were also murdered by the Israeli Defense Force. Israel is infinitely more evil than Hamas ever could be.
So then he starts making up lies, lying about me, lying about my decisions. It's been a month or two, so I can't remember the specific things he posted.
Why would I show it on my stream and then lie about it when everybody can literally watch me doing it on stream? The issue is that you haven't blacklisted her. That was the point. God, he's lying, trying to accuse me of lying.
People are lying.
Some claims the IDF killed a good chunk of October 7th victims.
No longer even using the veiled threats, okay? But the IDF aren't hiding inside of schools and hospitals? Yes, they are. What are you talking about? The IDF headquarters is quite literally next to a mall in Tel Aviv. What are you talking about? There's a higher combatant density inside of Israel than there is in Gaza.
I'm pretty sure just definitionally that's just not true. If for no other reason, because the Negev is just mostly hugely empty space. But that's the second clip. Fuck, I don't have the copy paste anymore, so.
The entire country is a reserve.
Did I accidentally search for this? Oh, I did.
She then goes into the other side of the equation. Now notice, she talks about direct victims, humanize them, right? On the Israeli side, young people are music festival, sexual violence that was unspeakable. Okay, that Hamas did, right?
Cringe.
Now let's hear how she talks about the Palestinians. Now, 1,200 Israelis were murdered on October 7th. 1,200 Israelis total. I believe around 400 of them were already were IDF, so they were enemy combatants. Out of the 800 that were not IDF, civilians, okay? Former IDF, doesn't matter, okay?
Former IDF. Oh, what a great one. We should call every single Palestinian death from now on jihadists, I guess, if they're Muslims. What an unhinged comment. What an unhinged comment. Oh my god.
Okay. Former IDF, doesn't matter. Okay. Not a majority, but a decent chunk of them were also murdered by the Israeli Defense Force.
I said this before, I hated that Rabbani got away with seeming more intelligent and more measured in the conversation that I had because Finkelstein was there. But Rabbani is also a massive, probably anti-Semitic hack who also tried to do the same thing. This is why I've asked so many times, how many do you think were killed by the IDF? What percentage? Give a guess. What do you think? It's because this talking point is still pervasive today. Hassan probably thinks half or more were killed by the IDF. That's the talking point. When he says a good chunk, he means like half. So the 800 civilian deaths, he's going to say that like maybe 400 got killed by the IDF. And he's going to cite to that one Haaretz article that talks about how on the final day or two of fighting, like I think on October 9th or 10th or whatever, that I think some of civilians might have been killed, like I think like 10 or 12 might have been killed as the IDF was coming back through to try to clear out Hamas because Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other Palestinian fighters would like hold up basically complexes and homes and stuff. And it's possible that some Israeli fire killed civilians that were being fought alongside some of the invaders, I guess. It has nothing to do with the Hannibal directive whatsoever. It is anybody that brings it up in this context is completely has nothing to do with that.
It's too far.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Not a majority, but a decent chunk of them were also murdered by the Israeli Defense Forces. Okay. Hamas and the Palestinian resistance groups that operated alongside Hamas.
The Palestinian resistance groups. The second largest one was Palestinian Islamic Jihad, by the way. So the Palestinian resistance groups.
And criminal elements that also broke through the boundary, the Gaza border fence.
Criminal elements. So it's an effort to downplay Hamas as much as possible, or at least the Palestinian involvement in the Gaza Strip. So it was resistance fighters against the criminals, I guess.
And criminal elements that also broke through the boundary, the Gaza border fence, were responsible for the majority of the civilian deaths and the majority of the IDF deaths. Okay? For sure. Like that's not an unfair estimation at all. Okay? For sure. Like the elements that also broke through the boundary, the Gaza border fence, were responsible for the majority of the civilian
I followed the wrong guy.
IDF deaths. Okay.
This is why I like it. This is why I like to ask somebody. Give me like an approximate percentage. I'm not going to nail you down. I'm not going to say like, ask me like 17.48. But the problem is like he has so much wiggle room here to where if you were to confront him on it in a public space, he would say like majority. Like I think like 90% were killed by Hamas and the invaders. But then like to his audience, they understand it like maybe 51%, maybe 52%, like almost half the public killed by Israel.
Okay. For sure. Like that's not an unfair estimation at all. Okay? On the other side, since October 7, Israel has killed more than 40,000 Palestinians. The overwhelming majority of 40,000 Palestinians that Israel has murdered, okay, are women, children, and the elderly.
Do you think he'll give any estimate at all? Number percentage-wise of how many might have been fighters? Any estimate at all, you think?
Think about that. Think of the numbers. Lancet estimations put it at 185,000 once the dust is settled. Right? That's
185,000 deaths? Okay, Chief. Maybe it's 5 million deaths, bro. Who knows?
An estimate? That is not what the actual number is, please.
The way the Lancet came up with that estimate is pretty fucking retarded too. And the way that they extrapolated that, I have to go back and check. I headlined this and skimmed it, but it looked like the way that they had arrived at that estimate was literally fucking retarded. Man, the Lancet has posted some major fucking L's. They posted that the Bernie Sanders single health payer analysis too. I think that was posted in the Lancet. I think that was a dog shit fucking article as well. And I think the Lancet posted the vaccine causes autism shit a long time ago too. Was that Nature? I think that was Nature. Jesus. Anyway.
185,000 once the dust is settled. Right? That's an estimate. That is not what the actual number is, please. It is a conservative estimate because Israel hasn't just killed 40,000 Palestinians, they've also destroyed the entirety of the Gaza Strip. Like the entirety of the Gaza Strip. Okay? Numbers on the board. Civilian versus enemy combatant per capita targeting.
Why was the healthcare thing bad? Just sort of, yeah, that's actually a massive extrapolation, completely unknown what the actual thing is. They just extrapolated that out. The Lancet thing for the Bernie Sanders thing was they had a bunch of amateur economists or whatever, or some dipshits that didn't know how to do any kind of real data analysis at all, came in and they gave an estimation for how much money
Quagmire Man
would save in the United States.
It's like making up
And
a
I think the
theme
way
song
that
in the
they
back of
arrived
my
at that
head.
estimate
Dude.
was
Quagmire
they took
Man.
how much money
Superhero.
was spent on administration costs for Social Security. For Medicare, and they compared that to how much money was spent administratively versus how much was spent on healthcare for ordinary private insurance. And I think for Medicare, it's like 2 to 3% spent on administrative costs, and for ordinary insurance, I think it's like 15 to 20% is spent on administrative costs. And they basically said, well, look, if we had single payer for the entire country, bam, look how much money we save. We're wasting like 15 to 20%. It's just a drag on the economy. It's just being wasted on healthcare administration. But the massive, huge, terrible issue with that is that one, the minor point is a lot of Medicare administrative costs are kind of subsumed with Social Security. You automatically enroll, they do identity tracking and all that. But two, the huge one was healthcare consumption of old people is massive. Old people consume so much healthcare. So obviously, a guy who's consuming healthcare at a massive rate is paying percentage-wise much less for administrative costs than he would for healthcare treatment, because the treatment is going to be so much more expensive, right? Like if you look at somebody like me, 100% or 95% of all the money I've spent in my life on healthcare has been spent on administrative costs. Because I'm not a sick person. I'm young, right? Like, but for an old person, the vast majority of the money that they're spending is going for really expensive medical treatment. So, yeah.
Israel is infinitely more evil than Hamas ever could be. When you just straightforward look at the numbers, Israel has targeted significantly larger percentages of the civilian population and civilian infrastructure than Hamas has. Okay? That's just a fact. You cannot deny it. That is just an abject fact. Okay? They've also done this while having access to the Palestinian...
Did that study like the original paper? I don't know if we read the whole thing or parts of it, but yeah, I think I went through it like confidently enough that I feel pretty confident about my assessment there.
That is just an abject fact. Okay?
Wait, sorry, hold on. What is he saying? Hold on.
We must protect. Follow the path northwest. Hurry! That monster will kill Drickthar.
Did you see this coming, you blind fool?
Please help me. How is Hamas worse than Israel? How is the suffering caused by both sides not equal? It's you would just never ever measure it in just the civilian casualties. You would just never do that. It just doesn't make any sense. You always take into account like motivations and stuff at play here, rather than just saying like who killed. Like if you think about like good guys or bad guys, in like World War II, you would never think like, well, the Nazis were the bad guys because they killed way more people than the Allies and the U.S. and the Allies who killed way less people. You would never think about it that way. You just don't ever analyze any conflict like that. Yeah. The reason why people generally would say Hamas are the bad guys is because Hamas operates in a way where they try to maximize the civilian casualties. Period. That means on both sides, their own and on the other side. They conduct themselves in ways that they don't even pretend to try to conform to any of the internationally recognized rules of war. And it seems like
those moving,
their goal, although it's hard to know 100%, but it kind of seems like their goal is the total destruction of Israel, the country. Yeah, so the kind of bad, not the best, kind of not good. Yeah, Israel seems more reasonable than Hamas, but
civilian population and civilian infrastructure than Hamas has. Okay? That's just a fact. You cannot deny that. That is just an abject fact. Okay?
Wait, what is... I'm sorry, I keep missing...
They've also done that. Okay? Numbers on a board. Civilian versus enemy combatant per capita targeting. Israel is infinitely more evil than Hamas ever could.
Civilian versus enemy per capita targeting... That I don't think he's right there at all. You just have to speak in absolute numbers. I think he's just adding these words on because he saw it in Abby's posts maybe on Twitter, but I don't know why he's...
When you just straightforward look at the numbers, Israel has targeted significantly larger percentages of the civilian population and civilian infrastructure than Hamas has. Okay? That's just a fact. You cannot deny that. That is just an abject fact. Okay?
To be clear, I don't actually think that's an abject fact. I don't know where he gets that from. Israel has missile interception systems or rocket interception systems, and Hamas doesn't. That's why, like, Israel's infrastructure survives. Not because Hamas doesn't target it, but because Israel intercepts it. But
they've also done this while having access to the Palestinian civilian registry. As in, they know where every Palestinian is. They have 24/7 round-the-clock surveillance. These are things that the Palestinian resistance groups did not have in terms of their targeting capabilities. They also did not have an air force. They did not.
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. When the invaders went to the kibbutzes, they knew that there were civilians there. They had the layouts ready for these kibbutzes. You could literally stand and see where in Kfar Aza, I think, you can see where like the like Hamas would stand on top of a garage or on top of like the armory where the weapons are stored, and they would just shoot people coming out of their homes or shoot people that are on their way to try to like gear up. You can see the bullet holes, you can see everything. Like, it wasn't just random. They weren't like, oh shit, like, oh no, we just happened to come across this kibbutz. I can't believe that. Like, they knew where to go. They had this like pretty well planned out.
Have these offensive weapons capabilities in general, right? And now there's a polio outbreak in Gaza. I mean, it's a fresh hell. It is a genocide, right? She then
polio outbreak too. Damn, there's all sorts of shit going on down there. Nickel Pickle, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Okay, and then what was the second clip?
No longer even using the veiled threats. Okay? But the IDF aren't hiding inside of schools and hospitals. Yes, they are. What are you talking
about? Kibbutz? Yeah, we went to Sderot as a city, and then we went to Kfar Aza, I think. It was one of the ones.
About. The IDF headquarters is quite literally next to a fucking mall in Tel Aviv. The fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what that has to do with anything. I think he's talking about the place with the helicopter landing pad. I think we saw this a lot. Helicopter, IDF, landing pad, Tel Aviv. Fuck, what's the name of the building I'm thinking of? It's got like two big things on both sides of it.
I thought we killed you already.
Okay, Yovel, there's a meme.
If you beg like a good dog.
Okay, Yovel, there's a meme that goes online that says the IDF uses human shields as well.
This is when we went to one of the protests. This was funny, watching this protest in person. I'll go over this when we go over everything. The media report said that the cops were like antagonizing protesters with their horses and with mace for no reason, but if you were there at the protesters all sit and they try to get in front of the horses so that they can't move, so that they can like intentionally basically bait out the cops to try to attack them.
Linking civilian infrastructure with military, right? And the argument they say is that this building over here, the command center, is next to a shopping center, right? Too close to a shopping center. That's the command center, right? This is the shopping center. Look how much is in between these two buildings. There's like a road, road that goes underneath, another road, and then some trees. Look at that.
I mean, is it close? Is it not close? That really doesn't matter. But the thing is that, oh, hey, look, it's me. The thing is that if you, the reason why you use human shields, the reason why you co-locate military and civilian objectives is because you expect to gain some sort of advantage from it. Israel doesn't gain any advantage from it because Hamas kills civilians. So it's almost definitionally impossible for Israel to use human shields because that wouldn't protect them from being attacked. It almost definitionally like doesn't even work because they know that, right? You're never thinking as an Israeli soldier, like, fuck, if I just run into this hospital, there's no way Hamas is going to attack me here. It doesn't make any sense.
The fuck are you talking about? There's a higher combatant density inside of Israel than there is in fucking Gaza. The entire country is a reservist. They've all served in the military. Far more people inside of Israel have served in the military.
That's such a dumb fucking talking
inside
point.
of Gaza have.
This should be auto ban. Fuck.
It's like,
honestly,
okay.
Really, really, really bad things. They were getting banned from every single platform for him.
Hamas is doing it out of Islamic reasons, yes?
The fact that he will
according to them as well.
How many militants there are in the Palestinian death tolls, he considers that he wants every
so every Muslim is now a jihadi terrorist?
Because all of them are former IDF, and I guess all of them are fair targets.
Using your logic,
because it's mandatory conscription order. That's fine. Hassan seems like the kind of guy who would support like mass rape and murder and then cover up for it constantly. is such
feel
an
like that's a
unhinged-
crazy
this is
thing
such
to
an
say.
unhinged statement to make. This is also why, by the way, this is why Jews or Israelis never, ever, ever, ever trust these types of people and say, oh, we're just looking out for Palestinians, and we're not anti-Jew, we're just anti-Zionist. And by anti-Zionist, we just mean the most far-right ones. They never believe you, and they never will believe you. And if I was Jewish, I wouldn't believe you. If I was Jewish, I would think the whole fucking world is anti-Semitic. When people like this get coverage by Jeff Bezos and Amazon to make the most insane fucking statements on Twitch and have free reign of that platform and all the young minds there and all the other streamers there who are too cucked out to ever oppose them, this is an unhinged fucking statement. This is an unhinged statement.
All served in the military. Far more people inside of Israel have served in the IDF per capita than people inside of
Someone
Gaza
already lived.
have
Can you
served in
fucking
any of the
stop
armed
and can
wings of
attack the
Hamas or
group?
Palestinian
My
Islamic
God,
Jihad or any
dude.
armed factions. So no, you're
Level
absolutely
21
wrong on this.
retard.
There's no way to argue around this point. Okay? The notion that like Israel must target schools and hospitals because because Hamas is hiding there is bullshit anyway.
One of the largest battles that occurred was that 2-week siege on Al-Shifa, by the way. But maybe it just took the idea of 2 weeks to blow up all the civilians. Who knows? And all the people they captured that they said were soldiers. Maybe you know, maybe it was all a meme. Maybe none of them are soldiers, and they would probably say Israel lies about it anyway. They just wanted more hostages and rape victims, I guess.
It's not correct. It's completely incorrect. That's precisely the reason why they keep saying there's a command and control center under this hospital, so we have to blow it up. And then there's no command and control center. So then they go, oh, the command and control center actually needs to be up.
There were huge tunnels that were found under the Al-Shifa hospital, and there were tunnels that seemed to be actively maintained with wiring and stuff running underneath them. There's also a big one found underneath an INRA building that people operated directly out of, but okay.
The hospital, we gotta blow it up. Then there's no command and control center. So what are we talking about? These are outdated lies that have been proven to be lies over and over again. Genuinely curious, didn't they find tunnels and stuff in hospitals? They did. But a tunnel.
He's gonna say, oh shit. Nah, I know what he's gonna say. There are two ways to get around this. The first way is to say, well, Israel built them. That's why they know they're there. And then the second way to get around it is to say that the tunnels are just there for safety reasons and they're not actually used by militants. There's no proof of that, but we'll see.
Curious, didn't they find tunnels and stuff in hospitals? They did. But a tunnel system does not mean that it's an operational command and control center. And as a matter of fact, that's precisely what they found under the major hospital in Gaza that they claimed had a command and control center.
Okay. I mean, they did find things over there, but these people expected to see like a whole ass fucking NASA computer room, and they were upset when there were only like laptops and guns, but okay.
Half of the tunnel system was already built with Israel's supervision, because hospitals do have tunnel systems under them, of course.
To run.
But regardless, I thought they actually had their command centers in hospitals.
Hassan wanted to see videos of like the fucking bat cave. Yeah.
But regardless, I thought they actually had their command centers in hospitals and schools. Yeah, that's a lie, brother. That's just a lie.
By the way, Al-Shifa is a known like area that terrorists operate out of. There's literally Amnesty International reports and everything out of it. Nobody actually denies this. This is like a well-known thing. Nobody denies this. You've got video footage on the day of October 7th of hostages being taken back to this hospital, past two others, or 3 or 4 others, but they're driving past the hospital to go to Al-Shifa. And Amnesty International published reports criticizing, you know, interrogation of prisoners, Al-Shifa hospital, like plenty of people.
Commander Varros Cloudstrider.
This just isn't even like it's not even a seriously contested. It's not even nobody actually denies this. Palestinians tortured, summarily killed by Hamas forces during 2014 conflict. Control F Shifa.
What are we doing?
Salutations.
As well as carrying out unlawful killings, others affected by Hamas subjected to torture, including severe beatings with truncheons, gun butts, hoses, and wire, or held in stress positions, and were interrogated and tortured otherwise. Ill-treated in a disused outpatients clinic within the grounds of Gaza City's main Al-Shifa hospital, and there's a full fucking report, I think, just on Al-Shifa, I think from Amnesty International. This is even in 2009. They were already talking about maybe Jamal Al-Gandour in his mid-50s was shot dead in his bed in Al-Shifa Hospital about 4 p.m. on the 20th of December by unmasked gunmen while plainclothes with relatives and other witnesses. Also present were uniformed members of Hamas forces who took no action to prevent the killing or to apprehend the perpetrators. But like this is nobody even denies this. It's boring even looking it up. Nobody denies this. Like it's insane how much like free propaganda the West does. And Hamas themselves don't even deny this. It's so crazy.
the evidence of the idea of using hospitals in Gaza as military bases. Yeah, they set up shop inside of the hospitals. The Israeli military is using the Nur Qadi dialysis hospital and the Jabalia refugee camp as a military base and operational center amid the ongoing invasion. This is the second hospital that they hide behind, following the Tika hospital in Netzarim.
Israel, the IDF, it doesn't make any sense. You can't say that. The IDF can't hide behind hospitals. Hamas likes civilian deaths. There's no hiding from them in a hospital. It doesn't make any sense to say that.
It's always projection. Okay? It's always projection. Everything that Israel says Hamas is doing, they do tenfold. And nobody fucking cares. No longer even.
Okay, don't care. Why doesn't Vosh get shut on for his dog shit Hamas propaganda here? He has big viewership nowadays and says stuff is unhinged or more than Hassan, but almost never gets brought up. I think Vosh tries to be a bit more NATO friendly when it comes to Israel, Palestine, and Ukraine, Russia. He still says some good stuff, but he's also, Hassan is like pigeonholed, or Vosh is like pigeonholed completely into his own little world right now, so I don't know if he's coming across his shit as much. Vosh is not moderate on it at all on Israel, Palestine.
But so far, everything I've seen is correct. There was some guy with Hamas and Hezbollah signs, like a soldier phenotype. Okay, I don't give a shit, man. If you support Hamas or Hezbollah, you're objectively more morally in the right than defending Israel. Like, if you take this as like an oppositional, like us or them, whatever, Israel right now is the one committing a genocide, Hamas and Hezbollah aren't. So if you want to engage in that level of
Didn't he start this off a lot more him? What changed? Did he kind of grift for more viewership? Has he changed his opinions? Or Bosch is getting his subscribers back? Oh, okay.
Or look advocacy, okay? Joe Biden saying he supports Israel's right to defend itself is implicitly more morally harmful than somebody running around a protest saying like Hamas is coming or whatever. Like, come on, have some perspective here.
His Ukraine stuff is more sane. Jewish billionaires, based. Fuck yourself to death, you genocidal freak. Israel already killed all of its own fucking citizens. Fuck this monster. Fuck this bitch. Bro, she is a traitor. Fuck her, fuck her. Oh, fuck her. We need to subscribe, but also as much as possible. Another case on the link state. And swing state. Fuck Holocaust terrorists. Zionist propaganda. Fucking snakes. Centrist motherfuckers. Fleeing from who you ghoul. Fuck this bitch. Fuck you. Come on. Don't forget to do the McAfee check.
Let me be clear.
Oh, one of the leading political Andys on Twitch.
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7th.
I have no idea why she started to get so into politics. Jesus Christ.
Kamala?
Oh, another one. What's this?
Here's what I need you to stop wasting your time on. Stop saying, so you think Trump will be better, or these people think Trump will be better. Stop wasting your time on that. Stop wasting your time on, yeah, but Kamala called for this. Like, let's just cut the bullshit, basically. Let's cut the bullshit. When it comes to Palestine, Kamala has shown thus far that she will not be different. And in fact, her talking about like the most lethal army in the world, like this girl is. It might be worse.
Most lethal army in the world was about the U.S. Army. We're not participating in military conflict with Palestine or Gaza Strip, but okay.
Without preaching for what you actually think.
You know who else does this perfectly?
Who does it?
Alex Stein.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And I owe Alex a big apology because I had him on my show not that long.
Oh, he's gonna say because I deserved it because of things happen in the future. Okay, sorry.
And his black friend, and he's wearing a Redskins shirt, are surprised at the woke, and then the woke guy gets a phone call from Rachel Levine, and
really? Rachel Levine?
Yeah. and a guy in the guy in the military.
Low-hanging fruit, good lord.
Yeah, exactly. That's why everyone's roasting it. So anyway, to get away from all that, the point is, doing these mockumentaries where it's Borat style insulting to the woke and the left without preaching for what you actually think.
You know who else does this perfectly?
Who does it?
Alex Stein.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And I owe Alex a big apology because I had him on my show not that long ago, and I'm like, dude, why'd you come so hard for Destiny? And then, you know, the assassination happened.
Then Destiny came back. Yeah.
Oh.
God, fuck, I need, I wish I could edit videos. Maybe I should learn this. Like, cutting that clip and then afterwards being like, oh, you know who does this really well? Alex Stein. And then just having video after video of him, like, sexually harassing AOC and, like, all this shit. That would just be such a great video to make. That's
Yeah, I was kind of spun out over that when he approached Destiny on stage at that Mines event.
Yeah, I was very upset. Not very upset. I was like, dude, come on.
What did he do?
Like, Destiny was on stage. Alex just crashed the stage and started screaming at him, and he was asking all these questions. Destiny couldn't even respond, and I'm like, what are you doing?
But the argument then is if
Alex just explained on my show.
If Alex hadn't done that, Steven might not have spun out.
Yeah.
Real quick.
What?
Kamala Harris is going to be speaking at 10 Eastern then.
Interesting.
Oh.
They were reporting 9 this morning.
Right, but that's 9 Central.
They pushed her to 10?
NBC said 9
No.
Eastern this morning, but I could... Yeah.
Because NBC5 Chicago says 9 p.m. hour.
We could keep the show going a little longer, but you know they're going to start late.
Destiny handled kind of well. He put his feet up. Didn't really care what Alex was saying.
Do you think it's...
The Destiny didn't care. He put his feet up on the table. Didn't really care.
He did care because
he played it off. I guess.
Yeah, supposed to. Yeah, I get mad. It's also like it's really effed up that you're on stage. Some crash to give it a mic. It's you know it's like what am I supposed to do?
No one pulled him off.
Yeah.
Stopped him.
But so I'm not familiar. He was basically it was not a bit. He was actually just going after him.
Yeah. But in his Alex way, he had a smile on his face. He wasn't like I'm going to hurt him.
Yeah.
But it was still like what do you do?
It was very off. Yeah, very off.
Where was it?
The Mines event in Austin at the Vulcan, and Alex was like, your wife, and Steve was like, oh my god, again? Is this all you people? And then he kind of lumped in this weird conservative people thing, and it's like just reinforcing his stereotype of crazy people on the right, which is not good for his brain and people.
Wasn't this whole group of people just defending Alex Stein though as being like a good dude? How? Like, what do you mean? Like
on the left. So like I didn't personally. I don't know, man. I'm not much of a social jammer. I think honesty and kindness is the better path, but there's.
I was hoping they would go up again.
Yeah, for sure.
No, and Alex explained it on my show. And
oh, maybe I was the lead.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was the explanation? Wait, I want to hear this so much. What?
But I do think, Ian, you often take this approach where you consistently give the benefit of the doubt and try to empathize with evil people.
Yeah.
You think Destiny's
turn them
evil?
to the light. I'm like Obi-Wan.
You think Destiny's evil?
I'm not talking about Destiny.
Okay.
I mean, I think Destiny's a bad guy for sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
You know, if we get into the depth of his being, maybe we come to the conclusion that he's evil. We have to have a conversation about it. But I just mean Ian often says things like pardon Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean?
But that's kind of like a utilitarian hostage.
Hillary Clinton doesn't need a pardon because she's not criminally charged with anything.
Fuck.
Tim.
Do I need to start
Negotiation
again
type
now?
of thing, like pardon everyone, get it over with and move forward. That's
insane.
No. I want the lawfare to end, and I feel like if you can end it across the aisle all at once.
You can end it right.
Michael is governor's for Gitmo.
Yes.
Think about the Sith. If you strike one down, another one just pops up somewhere else in the universe.
So you got to build another lamppost.
So you got to turn them to the light. That's the way to defeat.
Okay, you're going to turn Hillary Clinton to the light.
Yeah.
A little bit kumbaya goes a long way.
That's the way.
So anyway, to the point of Destiny. In many of these circumstances, you have these, as I was explaining with the Krasensteins.
I'm triggered.
I know. I'm not, as I explained with the Krasensteins.
I tell you nothing.
You've got, these individuals know they're lying. Destiny knows he's lying. I have about most of his positions.
What a loser, dude. This guy gets fact-checked so fucking hard, his fucking neck snaps. Like, anytime I confront him, like, when he was on the show, he's like, oh, are there, like, 10... How many thousands of people did he say every year we're getting, like, sex reassignment surgeries? Like, I don't know, let's look this up. It's like, oh, shit. What did he say about Ahmed Marbury? I don't know what the fuck this guy's name was. The black dude that got lynched by the 3 crazy white dudes? He's like, oh, he was jogging 22 miles away from his home. He wasn't at all. Like, the 50-state landslide, like, why am I even engaging with this? Tim is a known liar. He obviously lies about almost everything. Like, we can verifiably fact check. We watched the Olympic shit where he didn't even look up he had no idea what the fuck he was talking about before he was ready to give us his huge opinion on the trans boxer.
Like, he
that was Mao. No. This Tim Pool did this too when I was on a show and we were arguing. The one time I was there, I think it might have been the last time I was there, and he brought up some trans shit. I was like, let's look at how many kids does this actually affect. He had the same issue.
He tried baiting me. We were talking on the show about why someone asked me if I'd have him on the show after he gloated over the death of Corey Compton. Sure. And I said no, because anybody who gloats, anybody who intentionally breaks the rules of the social media platforms by glorifying, gloating, or encouraging violence, harm, and death will just get us banned. Destiny. I
could not wrap my head around that.
Destiny coming on the show would be an insta ban for us. So it's not a question of. I said
this is such a that's a lie. Like he just told a lie right there. You understand? I'm streaming on YouTube right now, and I've been posting on YouTube the entire time, and I still have my YouTube channel throughout everything. Like, and I made these comments. I was talking on YouTube. Like, what is the basis for this?
I don't need personal beef. It's just, if we brought him on the show so we could articulate his position on why he wanted to glorify the death of someone who was murdered by a psychopath, YouTube would just delete the episode.
It's crazy.
So then he starts making up lies, lying about me, lying about my positions. It's been a month or two, so I can't remember the specific things he posted. But one example I can give you is he says, "Oh yeah, well Tim had Laura Loomer on, and Laura Loomer called for the death penalty," and I was like, "And we pulled that show off the air instantly." But he doesn't tell his audience that.
No, we all saw that it got pulled off instantly. But the issue is you haven't blacklisted Laura Loomer, right? I've never heard him say Laura's not allowed on the show. I think that Catwoman even asked Tim, is Laura permanently blacklisted from your show? And she's not. Even though Laura made that comment on your show. And I would never make a comment like that on another person's show. I don't want to get anybody's fucking shit banned, obviously.
He says, why is Tim bulletting Laura Loomer, who says this? And then he doesn't.
No, I asked, why isn't she blacklisted?
Doesn't clarify that actually we told her not to say those things. Don't glorify death, even in that circumstance, and we pulled the show. Because we say no to that.
You might not have known that the show got pulled.
Of course he does.
And it doesn't matter to him anyway. When he was doing that episode.
He played the clip that literally showed the episode getting pulled down. That was part of the commentary saying, why did Tim pull the episode? He's lying. Why would I show it on my stream and then lie about it when everybody can literally watch me doing it on the stream? The issue is that you haven't blacklisted her. That was the point. God, he's lying, trying to accuse me of lying. People are lying. Don't spend your life on the internet reading all of the context and then going, oops, I made a mistake again, oops, I made a mistake again. This is what I'm saying about David Pakman. The example I always give is when he played a clip of Ted Cruz on Meet the Press, and they asked Ted Cruz, do you really believe that Ukraine interfered in the 2016 election to help Hillary Clinton win? And Ted Cruz responds something to the effect of,
is that a thing? Did I miss that conspiracy? Did Ukraine interfere in our elections? Is that something we're supposed to think now if we're conservative?
The New York Times reported it, and then you hear a producer start laughing, and then David Pakman starts laughing and says something to the effect of like, wow, how stupid is he to believe this? There's no way David Pakman sourced the Meet the Press clip and did not see Politico and the New York Times reporting it as fact. He had to intentionally not read those stories. So when I see him do something like that, I'm like, what? Because I've known Pakman for like 12 years, or going on. Yeah,
I know him how? 2008, I've been watching.
I met him during like the Occupy era, like, I don't know.
I remember when he had 700 subscribers on YouTube.
So
where's the suit?
It's not like I'm friends with him or anything. I've known him for a long time. We've talked periodically. We've been at different events. And so I'm like, there's no way when you Google search this Ukrainian thing and Politico pops up and it says, and I'm going to pull it up, I always do. Ukraine, Politico, Ukraine. It's safe in this computer because how often I pull this up. Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire.
It's insane how often I pull this up.
It's safe in this computer because how often I pull this up.
Or saved is how often I pull. What is this? Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire. Is this going to be about like public statements made by public leaders, or is this going to be about like a crazy subversive plot like he was implying earlier?
Sabotage Trump backfire.
Donald Trump was the only presidential candidate whose campaign was boosted by officials of a former Soviet bloc country. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also disseminated documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption and suggested they would investigate the matter only to back away after the election. They helped Clinton's allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors, a Politico investigation found. Okay,
January 11, 2017. Donald Trump wasn't the only presidential candidate whose campaign was boosted by officials from a former Soviet bloc. This is Kenneth P. Vogel and David Stern who reported this. This report was massive, and Ted Cruz was like, I saw the news. And then he runs into it mocking Ted Cruz, and I'm like, he's intentionally lying. Anybody who reads the news for a living, saw this story, knew Ukraine did this, Paul Manafort went to prison.
Well, Paul Manafort went to prison because he was doing a ton of work, foreign work, and he wasn't reporting any of the income to the State Department. It was a big no-no. I wonder what this story says. Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire Politico. Oh fuck, this is a long ass article. Hold on, let me read and skim.
Make them suffer.
Ukrainian American operative was consulting with the Democratic National Committee, met with top officials in the Ukrainian embassy in Washington in an effort to expose ties between Trump top campaign aide Paul Manafort and Russia, according to people with direct knowledge of the situation.
Well, oh, I fucked up Desador. I didn't realize. Desador.
Was this in conjunction with the Democratic Party, or was this because of the Mueller investigation? Because it said the Ukrainian efforts had an impact in the race, helping to force Manafort's resignation and advancing the narrative that Trump's campaign was deeply connected to Ukraine's foe to the East Russia. Why didn't they say what Manafort resigned for? Okay, but they were far less concerted or essentially directed than Russia's alleged hacking and dissemination of Democratic emails, which were personally directed by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Such top-down effort by Ukraine. Longtime observers. Do you think Tim's ever read this part? Russia's effort was personally directed by Russian President Vladimir Putin, involved the country's military and foreign intelligence services, according to U.S. intelligence officials. They reportedly briefed Trump last week on the possibility that Russian operatives might have compromising information on the president-elect. And at a Senate hearing last week, the hacking, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper said, "I don't think we've ever encountered a more aggressive or direct campaign in the election process than we've seen in this case." Do you think he mentions that at all?
Potentially lying. Anybody who reads the news for a living saw this story, knew that Ukraine did this. Paul Manafort went to prison over it. It was huge news. And he pretends like he doesn't know. These people are lying. Because that's why I showed the graph of the Krasensteins. And I gave him a 200 IQ because I'm nice. When his IQ is at a very high, he's completely dishonest, or he's really stupid and genuinely believes what he's saying. But I don't believe for a second that somebody who reads the news all day is just...
He's talking about me or the Krasenstein guys?
Like, it would be like, imagine someone stretched a sheet of 20-inch thick Swiss cheese over the Grand Canyon, and they're covering their eyes and spitting across it and dancing and missing every single hole across their death.
Did you ever see when Jesse Lee Peterson, praise be unto him, had Pac-Man on his show, kicked him off?
No, he kicked him off.
Oh, David Pac-Man.
He's like, you're...
Long-time observers suggest there's little evidence of such a long-time observers suggest rampant corruption, factionalism, and economic progress plague the country, not to mention its members of Russia would render it unable to pull off an ambitious covert interference campaign. In another country's election, President Petro Poroshenko's administration, along with the Ukrainian embassy in Washington, insists that Ukraine stayed neutral in the race, yet political investigation found evidence of Ukrainian government involvement in the race that appears to strain diplomatic protocol, dictating that governments refrain from engaging in these elections, versus meddling, spark outrage, American body power, okay, let me skim through everything. Hold on. 50,000 a month contract with a well-connected GOP link Washington cabinet. So it means the U.S. government officials to relations.
Like it?
Advising, probably back out of the European Union, packed okay, so a lot of this has to do with the Manafort stuff. Okay, I don't have time to dig into this.
You didn't come here to tell the truth. You're a liar, and you are the children of the lie. Thank you for your time. Goodbye. Go find the clip. It's hilarious. Jesse Lee Peterson kicks off Beckman.
What were they talking about at the time?
He goes, is having military pay for transgenders.
Why is that girl on the show all the time? Is she like a regular, or is she like a co-host now, or?
Surgery's progress. And David was just kind of like, well, Jesse, you're for like spending less money on healthcare, and goes, okay, thank you.
He's like kind of dodging, giving a direct answer to the question.
I can't find it in the media. I can only find an hour long. The reason I go,
well, it'll be the very end. You could just be, I'm telling you, like, you'll see where he kicks them off. It's not hard to find.
The reason I give these people benefit,
it's really worth watching.
100 each.
I'm telling you for the audience.
It doesn't come up when I search.
I'll find it.
The reason I'll give people benefit of the doubt often is because I'm like, all right.
Depends on the person, though.
Yeah, it does, and the situation and the time.
Do you want to dig into this? You should watch some key Senate hearings on the topic. I imagine when we read the whole Mueller thing, we'll probably dive into this. She has her own show, I think, on the Tim Pool Network. Gotcha. Judge rules Breonna Taylor's boyfriend caused her death, throws out major charges against ex-Louisville officers.
I'm getting my ass handed to me, holy shit.
Thrown out major felony charges against two former Louisville officers accused of false finding. Oh, actually, if I,
never mind.
If I would, I don't have time. I don't want to dig into this whole case. I could see this being a fair thing, though. If like, if it was the case that like 7 officers show up and like 1 or 2 of them fake the warrant, and you've got 2 or 3 other officers that are just there and they think it's a legit warrant, it gets served, the door's knocked down, and then they're part of like the shootout. Like, I could understand like the other officers that weren't involved in faking any warrant or like technically being involved in any misconduct of their own, like wouldn't necessarily be charged with anything. That makes sense, I think. But I don't know all the details around this, so I don't know if this is unhinged or not. But this is saying that federal charges against former Louisville Police Detective Joshua James and former Sergeant Kyle Meany were announced by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in 2022 during her high profile. Garland accused Janes and Meany, who were not present at the raid, of knowing they had falsified part of the warrant. There's a run of the Tuesday ruling. There's no direct link between the warrantless entry and Taylor's death. Simpson's ruling effectively reduced the civil rights violation charges against Janes and Meany, which had carried a maximum of life in prison, to misdemeanors. Oh, I see. So it sounds like the people who faked the warrant were being charged with it, but they weren't at the actual raid. Huh.
Jesus.
What is this?
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Half in the Bag. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay. And I'm Rich. And today's episode is sponsored by Fandango. If you want to order your movie tickets 2 months in advance and then get to the theater and have them have no record of you ordering them, use Fandango.
It's finally here, the cinematic equivalent of Homer Simpson's makeup shotgun. It's Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Seemingly endless action. No time to stop for anything. So many vistas, animals and robots. Endless death. Rian Johnson is the Undertaker of Star Wars. He put it in a grave. Or so the internet says. The film was simply delightful. Or was it? So Mike, you wrote that intro, and you wrote down, this film is delightful. Is that... I need to know, is that sarcasm?
I also wrote this film as the cinematic equivalent of Homer Simpson's makeup shotgun. I was thinking about that while I watched the film, and I chuckled to myself.
Close your eyes, Marge. And now you're ready for a night on the town.
Homer, you've got it set on whore. So, Mike, what does that mean? What did you think of The Last Jedi?
I don't want to say it's a mess, but it's messy.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it.
The most obvious thing to me.
Why am I going so fucking slow, bro?
Half an hour after it should have ended.
The length is an issue, and we'll get to that.
Length is an issue, structure is an issue, and pacing is an issue.
Don't forget excessive misfirings of comedy.
Yes, we'll try and say all this stuff before we get into spoilers. I don't know.
For some reason, I'm also stuck in the Dragonflight mode. I'm supposed to be in the real in the other mode with this.
I felt the Disney Marvel influence there.
It reminded me of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The fuck did they even die?
The thing about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is they'll have kind of like maybe an emotional moment or a dramatic moment, and then it's undercut with a joke. It's not as distracting in that because the characters themselves are silly and funny. And here, everything's like dead serious. All these characters are completely, serious and focused. And then there's like an out-of-place joke.
This is a movie about people who are either bitter and old, lost and confused, or in a desperate situation struggling for survival. And in all of those situations, the humor is just completely out of place. It did not belong in the movie.
When Luke throws the lightsaber, it was like dead silence. And I heard, non-spoilers already.
That's all you get for non-spoilers.
I did want to say one thing that I was surprised by. I was surprised that I knew Rian Johnson was directing the film.
I'm helping out for crying out loud.
I liked Luke. And then I was like, Rian Johnson's a cool dude. I like Luke. And I looked it up, and I don't think I've seen any other films of his.
He's only done a few. With Brick, and Looper, and this.
And
Maybe
so
one or two more.
Looper worked because of the time travel thing, right? I know Rian Johnson, I think, watches our programming. There's a famous tweet where somebody asked him, like, are you going to watch the Half and Bag or something like that? And he said, I like those guys, but I hear them. Something strange like that. And then, to my shock, the end credit was written and directed by. Disney gave the second film of this major
What the fuck
franchise
is
to
going
some
on here,
guy.
dude?
Instead of the committee, and to me that was shocking. You can complain about The Force Awakens being too safe
So
and
broken.
committee-like, and think tank, and it's basically a retreading of A New Hope, and all the pieces are in place, and it's nostalgic. And then you can complain that they did that, but here they did the opposite. They gave the movie to some guy and said, make a movie and just do whatever the fuck you want. And it's the complete opposite. So no one has the right to complain now. If you complain
Supposed to
about
be
The
this
Force
fucking-
Awakens, you know what I mean?
Well, you mentioned The Force Awakens, which everybody liked when it came out, and then everybody decided they didn't like anymore.
I was the one guy who was lukewarm on that when it came out, and that's not a goddamn pun. It was everything I was expecting it to be, which was, it was okay. I'm not in love with it. I didn't hate it. It's a competent movie, and really, after the prequels, as far as the Star Wars fans are concerned, that's all it had to be. It had to be competent.
People act like they're clever for discovering that it's a remake of A New Hope, where it's like, well, of course it is. Like, they weren't tricking anybody.
No.
The whole point of that movie was to remind people what the feeling of Star Wars was. After the fucking prequels, you make your safe movie. You make a safe movie that introduces some new characters, and that's really what that movie is more about than the plot, is setting up these new characters. Once that's out of the way, now is the time to go off and do your own thing, which this movie does, but it's a mess.
Ryan has written a story that's unexpected but right.
A lot of it doing its own thing to me just felt like a reaction, though, to accusations of it being, the Force Awakens being a knockoff of A New Hope. Well, we're gonna do the opposite of some things.
Some of the stuff that happens, people are gonna be like, oh my God.
Yes, I wanted to bring that up. It's as if
They went, oh
Rian
my God,
Johnson,
all right.
I'm going to say Rian Johnson because he's the writer.
He literally killed the
Are there
franchise.
any other ghost writers on this project?
There's probably 20, I don't know. I'm sure there's certain stipulations that Disney had, but
yeah.
But as far as like the shaping of the story, I mean, I
Did
guess
they have
you
a writer's room and a bunch of people said, hey, do this? Or did he just sit down and write a script? I mean, if he did, that's something that we always...
Why am I the one being used as a
push
fucking...
for, that we are big
I was
proponents
just walking
of,
past,
is
motherfucker.
The writer-director.
Yeah.
The guy who crafts it organic.
This
Who crafts a
what
film out of his or her own imagination. And then they make the movie that they want to make.
and
a
it feels
George
like
Lucas.
somebody's vision.
And it feels like somebody's vision. We always champion that over the committee. So it seems like Rian Johnson went and said, okay, you think Snoke's the Emperor? You think Kylo Ren is the new Darth Vader? You know, all this stuff. You complain about too many, we love lightsabers. No one hits a lightsaber into another lightsaber in the entire film. And it's like antimatter. Like it's like he took all of your expectations and twisted them, but did he twist them too far and too strangely and too absurdly?
I wouldn't say too strangely, I would just say too much. It's like every 5 minutes, it was it starts right off the bat with, Luke throwing the lightsaber. Or it's like, that's the big dramatic end moment of the last movie. Never mind. Oh, who's Snoke? Who's he gonna be? As people have been speculating for 2 years. Oh, he's just a guy. And I was okay with that one.
It's like he trolled the audience in a very small way.
Yeah.
It's like he...
Which is admirable, in a way.
Is he a secret asshole? Did he troll the audience? Because I was thinking, is this film a joke? Many, many times.
I respect that. In theory, I like a lot of what he's trying to do with this movie. In theory. In execution, most of it doesn't work.
There was a moment where it culminated, and it really got interesting, like philosophically.
Well, by far, for me, the most interesting thing in the film was Luke Skywalker having rejected the Force and the Jedi.
That's another in theory. In theory, that's a great idea. In execution, I don't know.
Well, I mean, little details. You got little details. Like Luke's playing a bitter old man, but then he has too many goofy one-liners.
Oh yeah.
If you're going for the Luke is bitter and through with him, and he's just done with it, don't do the one-liner jokes. Like I understand Rey handing him the lightsaber and him rejecting the lightsaber, but just the comic timing and the comic nature of what?
Yeah.
Didn't work.
It is about, okay, we're going to forge our own path, we're going to go our own way. Yeah, we're not the old Star Wars. But then the problem is, everything that the new characters try and do is like a horrible failure, and they end up at the end of the movie exactly where they are at the beginning of the movie. This is wheel spinning in the movie because no one accomplishes anything. That's very true. It feels like a series of B plots, like a sitcom where you have your A story and B story. This is all B stories because there's no larger. Well, there's no. It doesn't feel like the building is going anywhere.
The larger story was supposed to be Rey, Snoke, Kylo Ren, but then they added 5 one with BB-8. That was the story. That joke didn't land, see?
Where are you, Ryan Johnson?
That's how it feels. And then Laura Dern shows up with pink hair, and then...
Why the pink hair? That was driving me nuts.
Why the character in general?
That's the problem. There's that part where she is not telling Poe Dameron what the actual plan is. So he goes off on his own to, and that's his arc, is that he's like, he's a hothead and he takes risks and he needs to learn to work with others or whatever.
He needs to learn to blindly follow authority.
Yes, because it turns out that Laura Dern's character had the secret plan all along.
What?
And you're just like, why didn't she just tell him about it? Other than we need to make things happen in the movie.
We need 5 B plots.
Finn and Rose, who I liked Rose until she makes the stupidest decision ever at the end. But she was fine for most of the movie, but her and Finn, this was like a we got to give them something to do storyline. They go off to this stupid like Las Vegas planet where I was having prequel flashbacks. That felt like a prequel type thing. But they go off to do their little adventure there. They fail horribly, so they come back, and that entire last half hour was worthless.
Well, Princess Leia flies out into space.
Well, okay, we have to talk about that because that's already like a meme already. Her flying in space and flying back to the ship, and people were tweeting at us like, that Leia scene, you guys are gonna laugh hysterically, which we didn't. It was weird, and it was sort of awkwardly executed, but it wasn't like hysterical. It was more, it's emblematic of the...
strange.
It was strange, which there's lots of that in the movie. And I endorse strange stuff, but that particular moment is emblematic of the entire movie, which is Princess Leia's on the ship, she gets blown out of the ship, and then she flies back to the ship, and then she's right back where she was before she got blown out of the ship.
Right.
And that's the whole movie.
Did Carrie Fisher 100% finish filming?
I didn't see any jarring, like Carrie Fisher was digitally inserted here or anything strange like that. I think she finished all of her scenes. I mean, there is an ending to her character. Ironically, she's the one that lives out of Luke, Han, and Leia.
They gambled wrong there, didn't they?
I mean, it's such a shame. You know, it's like someone shot John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison all in one night. That's how I feel.
Gunnar.
Mark David Chapman had a machine gun. Strange editing moments. I don't know about you guys, but the ending, spoilers alert, Snoke, where Snoke dies, right? And it was almost like a reverse bait and switch, because Snoke's on the throne, right? And then he's like, he makes, what's her name, Rey, fly up to Kylo Ren. Yeah. And he's like, kill her, Kylo Ren. You know, prove who you are loyal to. Take your lightsaber out and use use your lightsaber to stab your main villain that you are going to kill and betray. And then it cuts to like the Luke lightsaber slowly turning like, yeah, we know what's going to happen. Like, he's spelling it out for you. And I thought he was going to kill Rey. I'm like, it's too obvious.
It was so obvious that they were going to do something different.
Yes, and then he cuts Snoke in half, and then they're like, yeah, he falls down, and it's like, oh, okay. You know, Snoke in his gold lame outfit, and he's like the ultimate villain, and he couldn't see that betrayal. No, but Kylo Ren has proved to be inept his entire life.
Yeah.
And then somehow magically he's able to blind Snoke.
Yeah, there's a great, speaking of him being, Snoke being able to tell he's inept, there's a great moment early on that's kind of a little bit meta, where he's like, you got beat by a girl with a lightsaber. It's like, because I was people complaining about that in the last movie. Yeah. Even though they established that he was injured, and that's why she was able to.
He got shot in the kidney, and he was bleeding to death.
But how could Rey match him in a fight?
Because he was barely experienced.
Yes.
And so was she.
No, it's worse than the prequels. Because it's
I know
like
you're doing a voice. You're doing a voice. You're doing the internet guy voice. There was one comedy line that kind of felt okay to me was when like he's like, what do you know about the Force? She's like, you can make rocks float. and tell people to do things. And then, people chuckled and it felt a little silly, but I was like, hey, that's about right. That's kind of what she knows about the Force. She knows nothing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's a cute moment.
And they bring it back at the end when she has to lift rocks.
And then your eyes roll back in your head so fast.
So Snoke and the throne room and the betrayal. You know why I think that was so obvious? Because in his head, the real twist was after Kylo Ren switching sides, he goes, no, I really didn't switch sides. I'm still evil. That was the real twist.
Well, yeah.
It's like hitting the reset button.
Yeah.
Forget about the last 20 minutes. He's
the
still
twist
evil.
is there is no twist.
And that was disappointing because for all the talk of we want to forge our own, we don't want to repeat the past, forge our own direction. When they're like, let's team up together and we'll start a new world, a new system together. I was like, I want to see that.
I like that Kylo Ren's this is all bullshit, good, evil, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Basically, let's just tear it all down. And
until the end when it's good versus evil.
And then he's like, well, let's start by blowing up all of your friends. How about don't blow up anybody? Just you and Rey hold hands and take over the First Order. Fire General Huckster. Get out. You're fired. And then put it on the intercom. Okay, everybody. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm in charge. Me and Rey are in charge, and we're gonna spread peace and equality throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna back off this whole killing my mother thing, and we're just gonna go settle down, and we're gonna create a government. We're gonna build some dams. I hear the people need dams.
Yeah, the only reason all those people are evil is because they're led by an evil person. You get rid of him, and just tell those people what to do.
It's like the world, the Star Wars, the world outside of things shooting each other, it's just a blank slate. Anything could be going on there. I don't know that the First Order is doing anything evil.
That's true.
They did blow up some planets in the last movie.
That's true. Yeah. But that was when they were led by the evil man.
That's true.
The evil non-character, who they realized was a stupid character, so they just killed him off.
Snoke, are you talking about? Yeah, good old Snoke. And Mark Hamill, he plays a character called Luke Skywalker, and he shows up at the end of the film, and I'm like, he's some kind of ghost or a projection of himself. One, they cleverly though showed his X-wing buried under the water, submerged in the water, I should say, to kind of how the fuck's Luke gonna get off the island? Oh, his X-wing's there. And then he shows up, and then his gray is gone from his beard, and he has like a toupee on, and he looks like Billy Mays. And then he takes out his blue lightsaber.
That we've already seen get broken in half.
And I'm like, wait a minute. He has his Return of the Jedi green lightsaber that he built. Remember that one? They show it.
Yes, I remember the
And I'm like, wait, Rey and Finn, or who's
Ken?
Ken. Rey and Ken.
Ken now.
They break the lightsaber in half. So I'm like, how does he have a blue lightsaber now? Oh, it's a ghost. Can we talk about Yoda and how Yoda appears and as a ghost has the ability to call lightning down from the sky somehow?
To do what Luke was going to do anyway?
It was pretty awesome to see an actual puppet, though.
You know what's weird? Can I just say something just really strange?
Okay.
And I don't know if it's dementia setting in
Everything
or something's
has a
wrong
price.
with me.
Hold your head high.
And this may shock you. We watched the trailer for a Garden Gnome movie.
Oh, yes.
And at the end of the Garden Gnome movie, there was a Garden Gnome who was naked and had a G-string on.
And he's doing a booty dance.
And his butt was dancing. For a moment, I thought Yoda did that in this. And I confused the two.
That's legitimate dementia.
That's dementia.
And I was like, do you guys remember when Yoda was dancing in front of the fire? And then I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, that was...
All right, it's time to put you in the home, Mike.
That was in the Garden Gnome movie. I really thought that happened.
He's awful jovial, Yoda. Was Yoda Frank Oz? He sounded weird.
Yeah, that was Frank Oz.
He was at the premiere, and so there was speculation why he
Oh,
was
really?
Oh, is that why?
I'm like, Frank Oz would go to the premiere. He would be invited to the fucking premiere. He's Frank Oz.
He's at the premiere of Force Awakens. I
Yeah,
remember.
this is he's Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Well, he would be at the premiere. He gets a ticket. He gets a front row seat. And then is Yoda back? And I'm like, fuck no, Yoda's not back. Oh. And
He's
then
back and he's more rubbery than ever.
Luke just turns and he's like, oh, Master Yoda.
Yes.
Like he had
He visits all the time.
I guess he must visit him.
I want to see that movie. The two of them in isolation on this island.
Yoda, leave me alone.
It's like The Odd Couple, but with Luke and a ghost Yoda. I'd watch that.
Round shed I see you have.
What shall we do now?
More blue milk I require. Go milk thing. Yoda want milk.
It's the central conflict of the movie. Luke is mad that he always has to get the milk.
You know what I thought was odd? Oh, in Empire, Yoda acts like a crazy asshole at first, right?
R2.
And he's like, he takes R2.
Maybe I shouldn't have flown myself.
And he's like hitting him with the stick, and he's acting like R2D2.
Yeah, he's got a thing for food.
He's got a thing for food.
Yeah.
And Yoda's like, nom, nom.
Yeah.
And then he's like digging through the garbage, and his little butt sticking out, and he's acting like kind of like a wild animal because he's testing Luke, and Luke's like, hey, you're making a mess and all that stuff. And then there's that moment when he's like, come into my little hut, and then he's like, take me to Master Yoda, and then Yoda starts talking to Obi-Wan. And there's that realization that's the Jedi Master, and Yoda's demeanor completely changes.
I'm not afraid. You will be. You will be.
In this, his ghost is acting like crazy Yoda. He's like, hey, you Koopa, Koopa, Koopa. And I'm like, why is he acting like fake Yoda?
Oh, Mike, in the Yoda
Can you
standalone.
explain that?
In the Yoda standalone film, we're gonna see Yoda's frat days when he acts like that all the time.
He was gonna like start fighting with a porg over a little piece of food. Give me that. Yum yum. Why is Ghost Yoda not acting like
the real Yoda and not the face that Yoda was putting on? Yeah.
Tweet at us, Ryan Johnson. Let us know why Yoda's all goofy and shit.
Have you seen Star Wars? Because Luke didn't think that a Jedi Master would be a little green guy. And his concepts of what is a Jedi Master just blown out the window. A Jedi Master doesn't have to be a big, tough, strong guy. It can be a little green midget. A little green puppet, sorry. That was the magic of Star Wars. Now it's gone. They flushed it down the fucking toilet. There is no Force. Looks like you don't have to have anything special about you to become a Jedi. Oh, really?
And what was all that shit about the midichlorians?
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
And Yoda has a message that I think is supposed to be kind of reverberated through the rest of the movie, which is where he's like, we learn the most from our failures. Oh, yeah. Because every character in this movie fails constantly, but nobody really learned anything from it. Maybe that'll pay off in that. Poe Dameron, he's the only character in this movie with a knife.
He learned don't take risks because you're just going to get caught.
Right.
And you're just going to get a whole bunch of people killed.
Yes.
Listen to your superiors blindly.
And Finn learned a very valuable lesson from Rose.
Which was?
Which is do not sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Don't take chances. Because love will save us.
But wait, Laura Dern sacrificed herself for the greater good, fucked up the whole Imperial fleet in a badass move. Wouldn't that have been better as Princess Leia's character?
It is very sad. It was sad seeing her in this. There was one really kind of nice little touching moment when Luke comes in at the end.
Oh yeah.
And he hands her the little dice from the Millennium Falcon. I was like, oh.
Yeah. When seeing actual like Luke and Leia on screen together, that was that moment that we didn't get in The Force Awakens. It was Han meeting Luke. We also don't get to see Luke's reaction to Han's death. Very strange editing, very strange pacing, very strange dialogue. The opening sequence when Poe Dameron is prank calling.
Oh God, that was when I was really worried. The movie got better as it went along.
Bizarre.
I forgot about that.
Where he's doing like please holds, like they're on a phone.
Yes.
Which does that even make sense in the Star Wars universe?
And then he says your mama.
He says a your mama joke. He's like, I'm on hold for your mother or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
Beware
but then
the
the action stuff was fun after that, where he's like, he's too small that they can't take him out, when he's flying around to take out their guns. I like that. But then they had the bomber ships come in, and they're going to drop the bombs because gravity exists in space. Maybe that's nitpicky, but I noticed that, and I was like, they're just gonna drop down?
They got magnetrons on them.
Oh,
They're self-guided bombs.
Oh.
Little tiny thrusters or something.
Nothing in Star Wars has to make any kind of sense. I bought that as the direct World War II aerial combat homage it was.
So one bomber did the job. Did they have to send in 30 of them?
Well, 29 of them got blowed up.
They were smart. They knew all these people were gonna fucking die.
Maybe you could just put a few of those bombs on an X-wing, and then like 30 X-wings that are fast, all drop 5 bombs each.
Rich, you should be a military tactician in the rebellion.
Oh my God, these ideas make so much sense. It's so obvious. There's no gravity in space.
So the bombs are self-propelled, which they would have to be. Why don't they just like launch them from a distance of like 500 million miles?
Going really fast, like a photon torpedo.
Lock and load!
Fire.
I know that makes sense.
There's a Star Trek Voyager episode about this. The Maquis had a planet-destroying missile that was self-guided and somehow wound up in the Delta Quadrant. And B'Elanna Torres had to disarm it because it was out of control.
She programmed it, right?
Yeah.
It was a suicide bomb or whatever.
Yes. In the event that they got killed, it head towards Cardassia and blow up Cardassia, but it had like an AI in it, and it was like, I'm gonna go blow something else up.
Its targeting scanners have been activated.
And so we could take out a whole fucking planet. So the rebellion needs to develop some serious long-range weapons. But do you remember when Finn came out of the hospital room with the costume on, leaking fluid all over the floor?
That was funny, wasn't it?
That was that whole sequence there when they get in disguise and they board the ship. That's like what we were talking about should have happened in Rogue One.
Their little heist plot though wasn't clever. They just said we got to go and turn off the beacon or whatever.
It wasn't so much that it wasn't clever, it's that it was a complete failure. It led to nothing.
They got betrayed by a character who we don't care about.
Yes.
Just like Lando betrayed Han Solo and friends. But that led Finn to meet up with Captain Phasma again.
So that they could fight, she could be easily defeated again.
Rich, do you remember when Finn caught Captain Phasma? And then she fell down into a fire pit. And then he's like, okay, that's done. Now let's...
What's another thing I can do?
Do you remember when BB-8 was piloting an ATST? That when he made it walk and the top fell off so we could see that BB-8 was piloting it? And then everybody jumped on top of the ATST legs and were running? Do you remember when they climbed on top of a giant space ape?
You mean that sequence that was the climax of the film, 30 minutes before the other climax of the film? Like Finn and Rose's adventure having no bearing on anything that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
She's all alone.
Her payoff, oh my god, that was the dumbest moment in the movie. They've got the laser battering ray to go through the door.
It's Death Star tech.
It's Death Star tech.
It's a miniature Death Star butthole that shoots out.
And Finn's driving, he's flying the ship right into it. He's gonna sacrifice himself to save everybody else. Rose rams her ship into his ship, which could potentially kill both of them, and then it wouldn't save anybody. And it doesn't save anybody.
Oh, I think I started laughing when she's having her speech, love is what will save us, while the big death laser is about to kill all of their friends.
Finn was about to stop that, which would give his character a real thing to do in the movie, other than, nonsense side plot. He could save these people, but no, love. They went there to see that guy, and they failed, because everybody fails always. And then they found Benicio del Toro, who then betrayed them, so they failed again. But they saved thank God.
No, you remember that was a bizarre moment too. She let one of those creatures go, and she's like, "That's the real victory," because he's like, "Don't you remember that?" He's like, "It's really great that all these wild animals smashed up that casino. That's a great victory." And she goes, "No, letting this one go is a real victory." And that's when I thought we were being fooled. I'm like, this is just too dumb. This can't be real. I can't be seeing this. I'm gonna wake up suddenly and go, Oh my gosh, today's the day I see The Last Jedi. I had a dream that it was really bad.
Was this whole movie, the making of this whole movie, just Rian Johnson realizing how horribly limited the Star Wars universe is?
Well, that's the problem. And there's a tweet, a famous tweet by him. Someone asked him about like how much of this was pre-planned, because they set up all these things in The Force Awakens. They set up Snoke, who's a mysterious figure. We don't know anything about him. We don't know anything about Rey's family. She's waiting for her family to come back. And Rian Johnson just bluntly explained, like, no. None of, like, they set up all these things in the first movie with no idea where they were going to go. So he's coming into this project like, what the fuck do I do? I'll do nothing. Rey's family is nobody. They're nobody.
I will take,
Snoke is nobody.
I will take every way, like you think everyone was like, oh, Rey's father is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
She has a little bit of a British accent, plus she has the Force. So everyone's kind of, and who is Snoke? Is he the reincarnation of Darth Sidious? Is he Darth Plagueis, the famous Sith Lord that Palpatine killed with his lightsaber? There was even a theory that Snoke is the elderly woman from the Star Wars prequel.
Is it B. Arthur from the holiday special?
Yes, I'm serious. There's an old lady who has like these buns in her hair, and she wears like this yellow outfit, and her face kind of looks like Snoke. She was in the Phantom Menace or something as a super secret Sith.
Wow.
A Phantom Menace, if you will. And so there's theories about that. So it's like he trolled all those people who had all their fan theories about all this bullshit. And he just said nothing because it's all nothing.
See, if those two
and then they tore down the concept of the Force and good and evil.
I'm okay with that.
The Force, the Jedi, Yoda burns down his own Jedi archives.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. That's the thing. Those three instances, I'm okay with. If the movie was more focused,
well, sure.
I would think because it's like, okay, good. Rey is not related to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Because we always complain that all these characters, everyone's related to Skywalkers, so it's so limited. So the fact that she's just some person, like, that's great. So like, if those were the couple things where you're like, oh,
no
this is
habla
what we're
inglés.
expecting to happen, that would be fine. It's just that the movie's got so many other things happening that have no connection to it and no purpose.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Okay.
So Luke uses astral project to make himself pure on the battlefield, and then things happen. But I guess he used so much of the Force that he died from it.
Yes, he was sacrificing himself. Although I don't know why he didn't just physically go there, because then he could still serve the same function, but potentially still live.
Luke Skywalker's pretty cool, but I don't think he could withstand the blasts of
I guess there's that part, yeah.
500 giant AT-AT walkers.
But he didn't know that was going to happen.
You could write it so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I know.
The idea of him showing up in person and sacrificing himself has a little more weight to it, because as it is, it's like, oh, he's just
they wanted that scene of him staring at the setting twin suns,
which was a fine little moment, I guess. I don't mind that he died. It just feels like the kind of finality you would have in the third movie.
The movie.
No, there was a cut scene where he tried to start his X-Wing up and it wouldn't start.
Okay.
And he asked the Porgs for help. And then they're like,
the movie was like 40 minutes long. He's just using the Force. He's trying to get it out of the water and it's stuck on something. Oh!
It's been sitting in the water for 30 years.
Sounds like the type of awkward comedy that would be in this movie. So.
He's on the pit. He's trying to get it to work.
Yeah, he just can't. So
he does something with the wrench and a whole bunch of like seawater just spills out in his face.
I think Rich, you said it best when you said Star Wars is creatively bankrupt, because I thought about that. Like, Leia and they like Admiral Akbar died, and they show who's that, the one guy who
You're up early?
piloted the Millennium
Oh, actually,
Falcon
no.
with Lando.
Wow, it's 16:30 already. Jesus Christ.
The Nien-Nub's there, and they're like, oh god, the Empire is going to overtake us and blow us up, and everyone's dead, and Nien-Nub's like, oh. And I just thought, like, 30 years ago, Nien-Nub blew up the Death Star. And I'm like, how much longer can this conflict go on? How long can the resistance continue? Before Leia, she looks so old. She's like an elderly woman, and she's still doing this. And what else can they do? The answer is not much. Bad.
Unless you come up with a completely new story that has nothing to do with that conflict, which is probably Rian Johnson wanting to get away from that. I think that's kind of what he's trying to do with this movie. It's like The Force Awakens got in the way of doing a completely different story.
You really don't, though, have a rich universe to set something new in, because all we know about the universe are these things they're rehashing.
Yeah.
All we know, Empire, Rebellion, TIE Fighter, AT-AT, lightsaber. These are all we know. Yeah. I think the
That was
idea
online
of Luke being
early,
bitter
or
and
on the stream
anti-
early.
toward, like, the
I did that
general
yesterday
wrong,
too.
He has clear reasons why I like it.
And the general theme of like letting go of the past, like I like that.
I streamed like 13
I like
hours
pretty much
yesterday.
anything with Kylo
Probably more.
Ren.
Probably more.
He's the best character in this series.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, I really like Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. I think
I am
his
here.
performance and his character is so like torn and nuanced.
Well, it's different, and that's
Yeah.
again kind of the meta thing with like in The Force Awakens, where he's essentially a Star Wars fanboy. He's a Darth Vader fan. That's interesting. So I liked that stuff. It's just that it's just such a lot of mess.
But and I like Rey in this more than the first part because like Kylo, that was the most interesting part. Because like Kylo, she wants to she wants answers. She wants to know what to do. Luke's like, why'd you come here? You know, what do you expect? And we all expected to train him. And he's so strong. He's like, you know. And then she's like, fine, fuck you. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go get Kylo Ren and try to turn him to the good side.
Do our own thing.
I don't know what to do. The First Order is blowing everything up, and I don't know what to do. I need some kind of help or guidance. That moment when her and Kylo kind of connect a little, and they kind of see eye to eye, and them working together to create something new, that would have been such a great direction to go in.
Then you don't have to.
Yeah, maybe that's what the third one.
You could. I mean, like taking the concept of the First Order and then having them power down their military machine and kind of return back to political life, kind of like reversing what Insidious did, backtracking it, and then reintegrating the rebellion and as members of this galactic society and all the stuff that could come with that. It could take it in a different direction. But now, next episode, guaranteed, giant super weapon that's shaped like a sphere that has a giant laser on it.
That didn't happen.
That's what we're headed towards.
Not
Look,
technically.
as interesting as Rey teaming up with Ken.
1,000
to
super
reform
weapons.
the First
Not
Order or
shaped
do
like a
something
sphere,
new and
but
different,
still have the giant lasers on it.
That's just too smart for Star Wars.
I don't think it's too smart for Star Wars, because you can still. Star Wars stories are, aside from the prequels, which are a jumbled mess, they're all relatively simple. And you could do a relatively simple story of them kind of rebuilding, a society.
Then who do they shoot?
Yeah. Who do you blow up?
Maybe you just don't.
Oh, then it's too smart for Star Wars.
God damn it! It's so weird too with that idea. Think about like those original movies. They're just solid, kind of fantasy movies. It's not like some grand, like there's world building in them, but it's not some epic tale. It'd be like making a whole universe in the future. So those are just 3 movies that were solid movies, and then that's kind of it. Like, you can't have an expanded universe for Back to the Future.
But it's too profitable, and they can't leave this alone. They have to keep trying something. And it's going to be just the same things rearranged.
I guess that's the frustrating part about this movie is that there are attempts at new ideas.
Yes.
To take it in a different direction, but it still feels like more of the same. I like that.
At the end of the day, we have man with a lightsaber and black armor with a giant army fighting a small band of rebels with a young, inexperienced Jedi helping them. At the end of the day, that's what you have. That's what Star Wars is. It's always going to be some variation on that.
I can't believe what I just saw.
It was the best thing ever.
I got to watch the trailer like 300 times and then watch it again another 300 times.
The online community of people talking about Star Wars, it's just like a race to see who can either hate the movies the most or who can be the most contrarian. It's like the contrarian Olympics.
Everyone wins a gold medal.
Everybody wins.
Well, you talk about the original trilogy, and it's like people responded to those movies with such fandom and excitement because they liked the movies, and now that's inverted. now they're responding
It's
to
more about the brand.
the brand, and before the movie comes out, like those Star Wars like fan conventions. What are they called? Disney Expo,
Star Wars Celebration.
Star Wars Celebration, where they're like, here's the trailer, and it's like an auditorium of like 50,000 people, and they're all like cheering, and you know they have people up there, and it's like a political rally, and you know Kathleen Kennedy's like pounding her fists on a podium, and you know everyone's like holding up signs, so you have this weird
100% yes
sheep mentality of people
Darth
that
Jar
are just
Jar.
like blind fans to this. It's almost like a cult now. And then the movie comes out and everybody hates it. And then they say, here's another one for you, and everyone fills up that auditorium again and starts like cheering. It's like
That is one of the
grown-ups
greatest,
acting like
besides the indoctrination
Like-
theory for Mass Effect, that is one of the greatest theories that I subscribe to. The indoctrination theory is the better one for Mass Effect.
Or you wait till the movie comes out.
That is just,
watch it.
it was
you
so
really
obvious
like
that
it,
that's
you
what they
don't.
were doing.
And then you move on with your life.
There's way too much
We're-
evidence for
we
it
do
not to
like
be.
post-mortem, you know. We look at all the things in it, what went wrong, what went right, you know. we tend
The
to
Jar Jar
take
thing
things
doesn't
down,
have enough
then-
evidence,
like
but
you
I
said, it's
love the
very
idea of it, so.
black or white with some of the people out there where they're just like, fuck you, you know. And it's strange. I think to me the strangest part is people just like screaming their heads off. It's like Beatlemania. Make another Beatles reference. It's like the girls screaming on the Ed Sullivan Show for something, except it's grown men and women.
Men, mostly.
Mostly men. Wearing like Porg costumes. They're in their 40s, and they're like pulling their hair out and screaming. And it's almost like conditioned, like a political rally. That's kind of what I mean, where it's like our political candidate can do no wrong. They're perfect in every way. Look at our political candidate.
I do.
I
saw that
even
my
those
mate
behind the
remained
scenes
behind
things
to
on
care
like
for our
Force
new
Awakens or the Rogue One
wanted her
Blu-ray.
just-
Have you ever watched any of those?
No.
Very calculated.
They're so
ever,
glossy,
this is when
and
family belongs
everybody
at
got
your
along
side.
great on set, and this is such a beautiful
Never looked at it
experience,
that
and
way.
our political
strange
candidate can do
green
no
orchid.
wrong.
Contrast that with the Phantom Menace behind the scenes. Yeah.
If I forget to say action or cut, just step in and say action and cut. I manage action and cut and faster and more intense. And then mostly I sit there looking miserable and quiet.
It makes you even look back on the original trilogy and even the prequel trilogy to a certain extent and appreciate like the realness of it. Now it feels like there's a gloss over everything, and you can't really see what's behind the glass.
Welcome to Disney.
The way I approached how we would go about making episode 7 wasn't any different than what we would do with any large tentpole movie today.
There was a period, a very brief period of time, when Star Wars was just a series of well-liked blockbusters. And now it's not special anymore.
And for the record, I don't think this is true. It's sporadically interesting. Isn't that an accurate statement?
That's a very good point.
Yes, yes.
Jay, you once said, I will know if I want to keep watching the Star Wars movies based on The Last Jedi.
Yes, that was my whole thing, was like, yeah, Force Awakens is a rehash, but it does a good job of capturing the spirit of Star Wars. And now that it's out of the way, the second movie is the time to become its own thing. This is not including any of the side movies or whatever. This is the main story.
And the prognosis?
This movie does its own thing, kind of, but by the end of it, I wasn't interested in knowing what happens to any of these characters after this. This movie feels like it has sort of a finality to it. And it feels like the last movie in a trilogy.
That's what I was going to say. Where can you go from here?
And that's the problem. So I'm not terribly excited or interested to see where they go next.
The only thing they have to work with is we have to shoot and kill Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And we're going to fight the bad guys. Now we have to get Han back. Not, oh, I just learned this horrible thing about my father. What do I do? There's like nowhere to grow. He wasn't trained how to use a lightsaber, but she'd still be Kylo Ren.
This one, no.
Unsubscribe. He's a Mary Sue.
She ain't no fucking Mary Sue in this one. Everybody fails. Nobody's a Mary Sue. See you again in 2 years for the next one.
When they just have to blow up a super weapon and she has to get through a lightsaber fight with Kylo Ren again. Because they can't do anything new or interesting with Star Wars. They just can't. It's not fair. I'm sorry. You've wasted your life and your fandom.
You know what would be great is if the next like Star Wars fandom
Star Wars
celebration. It's just like 11 people scan it, drop this giant auditorium,
Well, that's not you know it. It's not gonna happen. You know it.
and then they go, "Can everyone come down to the front row? You all don't have to spread around. We can see you closer if you come down to the front."
We've got a very special guest. We've got Anthony Daniels here. You want to see him, right?
Oh, let me talk about how C-3PO changed the world.
I can't wait for the 10th movie in the series where Rey's child has grown up to worship Kylo Ren, and then he betrays the Jedi Order and becomes a Sith Lord, and teams up with a previously unseen Sith Lord. And then Rey gets upset by that, so she goes in hiding on a planet, and then a new kid has to show up who's got some Force.
What is it?
And he teams up with Maz Kanata on the Millennium Falcon.
Is there a super weapon?
Yeah, of course. There's going to be a gas giant is going to turn into a new Death Star. Because it's going to be a much bigger planet than the other one. It's going to be like the laser's going to come out of Jupiter's spot. This Death Star's also going to have a Jupiter spot that just shoots giant lasers that destroy it destroys like half the galaxy.
Reg, stop giving them ideas.
And then Luke's ghost is going to show up and use lightning to burn down a tree.
Oh well, fuck it.
It's gonna go in new and exciting directions. Yet it's gonna be horribly familiar.
I think the big question that people have is, did we hate this movie or did we love it? And as we went into detail on it, it's complicated.
I think the important thing is, though, I'm not at all excited for the next one. I have no idea where they're going for it. I have no idea where they're going with it. And there's like no interesting developments.
Yeah, The Force Awakens ended on an obvious cliffhanger what's going to happen.
I want to see what these characters do next.
I want to see what Luke Skywalker does. I want to see what happens with Rey.
Yeah, I think that's the most damning thing is, there's nothing really to
I can't think to see it.
The next one.
This is the setup to the Star Wars Saturday morning.
Because if it
cartoon
pops
where
while I'm in
every
here,
week
I have to
the
start from the
Resistance
beginning.
Has to fight the evil forces of Kylo
Fuck
Ren
that.
and the First Order.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's too far.
Well, that's great. We're going to have a movie every week. So I guess we know if you're going to watch Star Wars movies or not. You don't need our recommendation or no recommendation.
Okay, bye.
That's all. Thank you. Thank you. We're sorry this review was so late. Again, we'd like to mention our sponsor, Fandango. Put your credit card in, pay for your movie tickets, show up at the theater, and then don't get your movie tickets.
Half in the bag.
I just don't know if anything could top this one.
Very special edition half in the bag.
Is it?
What?
Is it special?
It's
It really isn't.
Oh, you're talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, let's go around and say our first initial thoughts of the movie while we show you some clips of the trailer.
Okay. Epic. All of it. The Rise of Skywalker is a terrific finale that is just stuffed with
You're
so
still
much of everything.
Wait.
Action, adventure,
You guys down here.
answers, humor, heart, love, and grit. I spent the entire second half with tears in my eyes. A wonderful way to end the Skywalker story.
I'm emotional,
annoying?
overwhelmed, surprised, shocked, stunned. More than anything, I'm happy. Thanks for coming through one more time, Star Wars.
Oh my God. I am absolutely blown away. I have never been so satisfied by a film. This is the end of an era and a franchise that has defined my life. And this
is kind of annoying.
In a way I didn't imagine it could.
It's fucking me over.
You will cry.
Well, of course, those were
Not our tweets.
Not our tweets.
We didn't say any of those things, but people did say that.
After the premiere. The glitz and glamour of the premiere. You're all revved up with excitement. The stars are there.
And you want to get invited to future premieres.
And that's the most important thing, Jay. Although I will acknowledge it's possible that it's the actual thoughts of those people.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
You know, if you grew up with like Vines, like 5-second videos, this is like a lot of Vines just strung together.
A good way to describe it. Lots going on. Lots to talk about.
I think this is 6 decent movies that are just condensed into one rushed, kind of sloppy mess.
Where does the decent part come in then?
I think if you actually took your time and let all of this shit they just keep throwing at you, like, let some of these plot elements breathe a bit. There's a scene where they introduce an old flame of Pose, and she's introduced in one scene, and then her character bit is resolved in the very next scene, and then she vanishes from the movie.
That's kind of the whole movie, yeah.
It's the movie is like an outline for like 3 seasons of a TV show.
The people that are raving about this movie, and I didn't hate it. There were some good parts. It's very complicated, and it's hard to break down because so much is thrown at you. If you're easily manipulated, so much happens that your brain can't keep up.
So much happens so quickly that you don't have time to think about it before it's moved on to like 6 other things. You went to the bathroom at one point. You were gone for 1 minute, and you missed like 15 different plot points.
Chewbacca was kidnapped, blown up, and then he was alive again. And
I saw him get blowed up. I knew he was going to be alive because you see him and Lando flying the Falcon in the trailer. But listen, can I talk about the elephant in the room?
What is the elephant in the room? Is it The Last Jedi?
That none of this
matters?
That this is not my fault.
No, any amount of hate that Star Wars has ever gotten in the last 10 years is all specifically your fault, Mike.
Well, okay. Mr. Plinkett had said J.J. Abrams would be great at directing Star Wars films. Way back in the day. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do remember that, yes.
You're seeing, in my opinion, where the prequels utterly failed, Star Trek excelled. Star Trek is really engaging. It's fun, adventurous, fast-paced. Heroes are heroes, and villains are villains. And at the very least, you know what's happening. It's everything we did not get in the prequels. At no point were we completely bored and confused.
You can't lock on your signal. You're moving too fast. I can do that. I can do that. Take the gun.
The black hole's expanding. We won't reach minimum safe distance if we don't leave immediately.
Hold on. Compensating gravitational pull.
Your Highness, with your permission, we're heading for a remote planet called Tatooine. It's in a system far beyond the reach of the traveler.
In fact, J.J. Abrams should have directed the prequels, and George Lucas should have directed people to their seats in the theater.
This was before the prequel, Disney acquired Star Wars, space action and emotion. J.J. Abrams is good at both. He is not good at writing the stories that he directs.
That is absolutely true.
So I wanted to clarify that the Force Awakens was written by Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire, and then...
These guys supposed to help me or something? Because I'm getting my ass handed.
That's the great one.
Lawrence Kasdan wrote, well, here, write a new... what do you want me to do? Soft reboot. Oh, okay. You know, and then he wrote...
You're gonna just write the same story again?
I get paid to write the same script again? Okay. So then Lawrence Kasdan's out, and then Ron Johnson takes over. But really,
let's be specific. Nothing happened there.
Right.
The Last Jedi was a big waste of time. And So it feels like The Rise of Skywalker is making up for that. It's trying to do things that the middle movie should have done.
It's sprinting to the finish line. Let's just get this fucking over with.
It's the end of school. And that's a big problem.
Well, it's interesting because like The Last Jedi, it's like, oh, everything that was set up in The Force Awakens, none of it matters. Fuck it. And then this movie is like, oh, everything that happened in The Last Jedi, none of it matters. Fuck it. It's like, okay, this is like, in years to come, this will be taught as an example of how not to plan a franchise.
It will be directly contrasted with Marvel.
Yes.
Did J.J. Abrams spin straw into bronze? You think? I think that's a good way to describe this because he was given a big pile of straw with those camel things piss all over it, right?
Yeah.
The
It
things that
fucked
ran
me
through
over
the
because I
casino.
died.
He was given a big pile of that straw.
Fuck my life.
And I think he spun it into bronze. Maybe.
I think that's fair.
Maybe what's a lesser metal than bronze?
I was gonna say, I
Copper?
don't want to give him that much credit, but it's a situation where like
Aluminum.
Okay.
It's not. It's it's not very fancy, but it's very practical and useful.
Yes, it serves its purpose, and it can be recycled. No, because I mean, there's so much to talk about, and we're going to go on tangents. I just wanted to wrap up my "this is not my fault" thing, because people have been. First of all, the idea that Mr. Plinkett saying J.J. Abrams would make a great director for Star Wars movies had absolutely no impact on J.J. Abrams being chose to direct The Force Awakens. Okay, zero.
You don't know that.
I guess I don't. But
The Horde has
I never said right in with the guy who wrote Batman versus Superman. Couldn't they have grabbed literally anyone? J.J. Abrams has that sense of action and excitement and drama and stuff, but you just need a really good story to go with that. And of course, they looked at this movie, how everyone in the world was going to be looking at it. It's like politics, like split right down the middle. Some people, half people liked Last Jedi, half people didn't, and there were only so many things you could do. And like you said, they just start throwing everything in there to try and make it work for everybody.
Well,
in the end,
they had nothing, and so they had to establish everything and then have payoff rather than the series naturally leading up to something.
and it was somebody's brilliant idea. They said, oh, by the way, spoilers. From here on out, spoilers. Nobody's watching this unless they've seen it, so it doesn't matter. Is Rey Skywalker? Is she a nobody? How about she's a Palpatine, right? Someone said, oh, who has force powers? The Skywalkers have force powers. Who else? Oh, she's a Windu? Well, no. I guess that would work. She's a Coyote Mundi. She's Coyote Mundi's daughter. I mean, she's got a little bit of a forehead, right?
You're making a sequel series of movies based on Star Wars. What you need to have a Jedi character, right? You need to have a young person who picks up a sword.
We've gone through all this. You're treading water. Why wasn't
like Star Wars?
If Rey was Palpatine's granddaughter, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't
that means that Palpatine had sex with a lady?
That means Palpatine
with his fucked up face, right? It wouldn't be pre-fucked up face.
Anyways, my point is, Palpatine's direct daughter, who got killed, remember? Her and the husband were like stolen and they were stabbed. Why wasn't she poised to be Empress Palpatine?
Because none of this was planned. Look, it's Lando. We've moved on.
Like.
Chewbacca's getting a medal. Shut up and watch.
If we move fast enough, nobody will notice.
I mean, this
is like, because I think we talked about that with Into Darkness. That was like the extreme example of just keep the thing moving. This is like Into Darkness times 100 in terms of don't pay attention. We're just gonna keep moving.
She's a nobody. Nobody liked that. She's a Skywalker. Too predictable. I guess she could be a Kenobi, but he was technically supposed to be celibate. That would have been a better tie-in, because they're making the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Obi-Wan Kenobi, in between, remember he left to be a hermit?
Yeah.
And we thought he was going to stay there for 60 years until he became Alec Guinness.
Hello there.
But I guess he went off, he's going to go off on a whole bunch of adventures. And maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi loses his faith a little in the Force and Jediism and has a wife.
Don't you hear his voice in The Force Awakens briefly? So maybe that was the plan?
Isn't that less interesting though than if a bloodline is evil? Even though they already did that with Skywalker.
I am your father.
Is she going to turn to the dark side or not? That's the movie.
Yeah.
I think the idea to bring Palpatine back probably came first before the idea to have Rey be related to him. Because it's like, oh, we don't have Snoke. We don't have a villain for this trilogy. We'll bring back Palpatine. Oh, yeah. He's got a jar full of Snokes. That was my first reaction.
That was the best thing.
All these floating Snokes in a gigantic tank.
He literally made Snoke.
It's so dumb. But it's dumb in that, like, well, what do we do? How do we tie any of this shit together or make any sense of it?
They killed Snoke. Kylo Ren was a dipshit. You either bring in a new unseen Sith Lord for the final act, or you just bite the bullet and you bring back Palpatine. And as dumb as it is, it was the smart choice. But smart choice would have been not to make it once.
No, the smart choice would have been to plan it out extensively.
Look, I am thankful that Palpatine is back because I love Palpy, and he gets pretty hammy towards the end, more than I was expecting him to.
But
less than I wanted him to, though.
That's true. It's kind of right in between. Kind of
Yeah.
like
we also need to address the fact that Palpatine in Jedi was just a mere clone.
He was?
Yes. He died.
Oh, but this movie he's back. He's
No.
not did he say he's a clone?
Yes.
In this movie?
He says he's died many times.
Yes.
I think
the real Palpatine lives on this spooky lightning planet in the thing, and he's like the Wizard of Oz. He's been pulling the strings. Many Palpatines have existed that have died.
See, actually, I have a different interpretation. I think the real Palpatine is the conglomeration of thousands of all of the dead Siths. That's the consciousness that keeps going on into the new body.
So why is he still in
There's no
Palpatine's
turning
body?
back now.
Because he survived the Death Star crash, or so. No,
That's point A. Is that's why we thought Palpatine was living in the ruins of the Death Star with the Ewok
So
Death
he
Star.
wasn't there.
He wasn't there. No,
Okay,
it was on a completely different thing. That was inaccessible because it had that red electric gas cloud.
But he's all fucked up though. His eyes are pure white. His fingers are
Right,
like
turning
burnt
these
and
quiz-
missing.
He has tubes in him. The Palpatine with the white eyes that we see in this movie is super ancient.
Forget.
Being kept alive by tubes and chemicals. That's why
Yes, so
he's
it's the
connected to that giant
It's
thing.
the same body that survived the Death Star.
The Palpatine on the Death Star was a clone of him. Because the Palpatine on the Death Star just vaporized.
Why would the new Palpatine clone have burnt fingers?
Because
And look just like a real person. Because before he turned into Palpatine, he was just Chancellor Palpatine.
No, Chancellor Palpatine must have been a clone of him.
All along?
Yeah, because they never called him Sidious. They called him Palpatine.
Yeah.
So Palpatine is the source of everything evil.
Mike is
the
completely
source
wrong
of
here, by the
all
way.
Siths.
This is all horribly uninteresting.
In his younger days, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, he probably looked like Chancellor Palpatine.
Okay.
So he cloned himself, created a guy named Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, who then became Darth Sidious.
Oh, okay. So you're saying the person we saw at the end of this movie, we technically have never seen before.
Right.
That would suck.
Yeah. Why there were no other Palpatines, I have no idea.
Look, it's Maz Kanata.
Because that's their excuse for saying Palpatine died. It would have been better if, you showed Palpatine falling down and that big blue energy blast comes up, and he's just like falling down, and he's like a force bubble around him. And he lands in some corridor, and I've got to get out of here, and he runs into a ship. That would have been more appropriate or better. You know what I mean?
Would it?
Yeah.
I think he doesn't have to even run around. I think he just survives the explosion and he's floating around for a bit before his henchmen pick him up.
Leia survived space.
No.
I mean, like, when we see the Death Star #2 explode, like, it is completely obliterated.
Yeah.
Like, and then there is so much wreckage down there.
It's completely obliterated, yet you still got, like, the fucking hull of it on that planet.
I know.
Even though it was fucking atoms.
Right.
At some point, I'm willing to look the other way.
Well, sure. But
It's fine.
That was a good reason to have him still be alive. I mean, he's powerful, he's strong, you know. Either way, it negates Vader's sacrifice of throwing him down the pit.
Oh, yeah.
But who cares anymore? Who gives a shit?
You can't touch this.
I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you
Go ahead.
a shocking question. Which one do you like better, The Last Jedi or this?
Oh, this.
That's a tough question. I don't know if I could answer it, especially after we just saw this one.
It'll take some time.
The Last Jedi, for all of its problems, at least it felt like it was trying to have themes, you know, about like real Luke versus everybody's sort of mythical idea of who Luke is.
You don't need Luke Skywalker.
And this is just like a bunch of garbage. This is just like a bunch of nonsense. Like, what can we do to salvage this?
Yeah.
And like overcompensating by having too much in it. Yeah. So I don't think either of them are particularly good, but I think Last Jedi is probably more interesting.
For the record, I'm not particularly in love with any of these.
Well, that goes without saying, I think.
Yeah.
We've known that for a while. I would probably lean towards Last Jedi at this point. But I understand the position that Abrams and company were put in to try and satisfy the fan base, satisfy those who didn't like Last Jedi, satisfy those who did, make their money.
The problem is you don't have, like we were saying, you don't have an overall plan. So you don't have an overall like core or like central kind of conflict for these characters. They're just winging it.
Right.
And so like I didn't feel anything for like Rey during this. I know a lot of people don't like Rey anyway, but you know.
And you're definitely not going to like this if you don't like Rey.
If you're one of those diehard, like, I hate Rey because she's a Mary Sue, here she's like healing wounds. She's like Jesus. Yeah. It's like they double down, like they're trolling the people that don't like Rey with this one.
Was that the thing that J.J. Abrams was referring to?
Oh, that's right. I have to
she's
wait
using
for
new
Durin.
force power that's gonna
Probably.
piss some fans off.
She uses more force powers in this than in the entire original trilogy combined. She's like doing everything.
What is she training for so hard?
And why is Leia training her? Because we got some leftover footage?
Because they killed Luke.
Because they killed Luke, yeah. You gotta
Because
do
everyone
something.
wants that training sequence. It didn't even look like Dago did. But like, yeah, Rey is people like, it's like, oh, but then you get super nerds. What are you doing?
Well, that's the thing. You introduce that, and I know the little baby Yoda does that on The Mandalorian in one scene. So they're connecting it with that. But yeah, introducing that opens a whole can of worms about why haven't the Jedi done this before and all this stuff.
Why haven't the Jedi ever run really fast before like they did at the beginning of the Phantom Menace?
Exactly. There's things like that, or Luke jumping really high in Empire.
They jump high in this.
They do.
Yeah.
When the waves are coming.
I think that's the overall problem, though, is like the Jedi can do anything, but rarely do.
Why don't they do the mind trick more?
Yeah.
Why do they ever even bother with the laser sword? Why don't they just always pick everybody up and just slam them into the ground with their mind?
Exactly. That's kind of the problem with the Jedi in general.
Well, because all that stuff was never.
Focus
No, it was all back to the characters and the character drama, and this new series doesn't have that.
I mean, there's some drama between Kylo Ren and Rey, and I think that was the best part of the movie.
Adam Driver has also carried to this franchise.
Adam Driver's a great actor. I just got done watching
He's great. So good.
You know what's amazing about Marriage Story stars Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, both actors in gigantic blockbuster franchises, where they're doing nice small movies.
The whole movie is them just talking in rooms.
I thought we should talk.
Okay. shots. And it's great. Especially extremely long, like, monologues.
Yeah, that scene where she's talking to Laura Dern. This is an hour review of Marriage Story, by the way.
Yeah, and Laura Dern too.
Laura Dern. Oh yeah, Holdo. Who they mentioned in this, and they're like, why don't we do that maneuver that Holdo did? And they're like, ignore that. It's too risky.
Ew.
It's a 1 in a million shot.
We
Thanks
can't
so much.
do it again because the movie
Subscription
after-
hype.
And it was like an 80.
1 month streak, let's go, baby.
That's a 1 in a million shot.
I do
It'll
agree.
never work.
Yeah.
Why not?
And then the movie keeps going.
I will never be.
Yeah, but anyway, Marriage Story.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Driver is so good, and I can see people complaining in this about the scene where he's talking to Harrison Ford. Because it's like, what's Harrison Ford? He's not a Force Ghost.
40 to 1 would have been better.
It was a good scene, even though Harrison Ford looked like he just rolled out of bed.
He refused to get his hair cut. I ain't cutting my hair. I'll do the fucking scene, but I'm not cutting my hair. Your hair is like really long, and you look like a bum.
That doesn't work. You have to click on your.
Can you at least shave?
Yeah. No, I'll do the fucking
it does work.
scene. They had to call in some major favors to get him on set.
7 years.
But you know, Harrison Ford sold it, and Adam Driver.
And only 10 months sub?
Closest
Oh
the
my
series
god.
has to any sort of like real character drama.
him and Ray gone and flipped sides. You know, Ray
Dope.
became the bad guy, and I'm the good guy. She does the thing where see, little moments like that are what stand out. What doesn't stand out?
Yeah, I'm like the only Belgian who know, bro. Come on.
Yes.
Of nonsensical action.
Yeah.
And keeping the plot moving.
There's like 16 set pieces.
Well, yes, and all the stupid little things that they're not stupid, but they're little things that are just you can tell they went back and oh, how does Ray heal him? Oh, that's going to be weird. Well, let's have a scene where a giant snake.
Oh,
you know,
it's
Inconsequential monster that she just heals.
okay,
half in the
and
bag.
then,
We're going through like a
Kerry
bunch
Russell,
of.
you know. Oh, by the way, I have
Oh
this
no, yeah, I
magical
need to change the
coin
title.
that will give you access.
That
to
something was an
anything
hour ago.
in the First Order.
She just has it.
Oh, take it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's going to come up later. And that's like, okay, well, how do we get him on the ship? Well, how about we go back?
Everybody
to when
pulls
Terry
their
Russell's
weight.
talking to
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. And she
Run
just
with
gives
the
it
pack.
to him, gives him this thing. Fuck it.
Barrel.
It's like going back and they're just like throwing shit here and there. And it happens so fast. Nobody knows. Kerry Russell, all we saw were her eyes.
Were you actually allowed to like make the pew pew sounds when you were firing blasters?
I've actually been told in movies, and we can see your mouth making it.
Was she even in the film? You know why she was in the film?
Because she was on a show with J.J. Abrams 20 years ago.
Called Felicity, and J.J. Abrams says, "Hey, why don't you be this stupid part in this movie?
You're a known actress.
You'll work for 4 days,
Yeah.
and I'll write in your contract that you get 0.5% of the back end, and you're going to make $7 to $9 million by being a main character in this film and doing nothing."
Yeah. What's the same with
Wink, wink, my friend Kerry Russell. You're playing Zori Bliss, like an utterly pointless character.
Well, it's the same with Dominic Moynihan, who shows he has like one
Yeah,
line
we're
in this
just
movie.
going
He
through
was on
some Star
Lost
Wars
with-
stuff.
that J.J. Abrams
I like
produced.
laughing
I'm
at
in
the
it a
sequels.
little bit. Blink and you'll miss me is the name of my character. I'm very excited.
He's in the Lord of the Rings movies. He's one of the main characters, and here he's like out of focus in the background. The little planet that they go to where she was introduced, I kind of like that, the way they're like sneaking around with it. Like it looks like a little like village during World War II.
Oh yeah,
You
that
see
was the
stormtrooper-
implication.
I know,
the
it's
Nazis.
snowing.
I was trying to get this guy to 70 so we can go back to the war with him.
Spend
I
some
got-
time here, let it play out. Remember
Right now,
scenes,
18 level
like,
70s.
and
If this
some-
guy
everything
is
just goes so
70, it'll
quick,
be
even the things I
19
liked are
level
gone in a flash.
70s.
But now Star Destroyers have Death Star guns on
Oh.
them. So wait,
We went a bit less
since
the last month.
roughly the Return of the Jedi era, because those are the age of those Star Destroyers. He was conjuring them at set.
He's been working on this on that Sith planet for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, and then all the people that live. I guess
I created a vanilla character, a classic character. I haven't really played because I did that the night before War Within came out because the server went down for like an hour.
Even the Empire, but
So I
they were
just
Oh,
I was
but
like, fuck it,
didn't they
let's try
look
classic.
like First Order
Bro, it's so
stormtroopers?
nostalgic, bro. I'm
Didn't
actually
they look
like
like classic
auto
stormtroopers?
attacking and having to wait for the
Like the
auto
Star
attacks, dude.
Destroyers.
Like I haven't done that in years, you know? That's crazy.
We gotta move on. There's other things we gotta...
Star Destroyers look like classic Star Destroyers.
Wait, now we're gonna have to go to this planet to get this
sorry.
thing.
Here's a magical space coin that will grant you access to the supreme leader, Star Destroyer. But anyway.
Look at these horses!
So wait, almost an entire, more than a generation of human beings lived and worked aboard Star Destroyers, basically hovering in formation.
No, they came up to
Alright, bro. Yo, thanks for the sub, dude.
Did he conjure those
Go take care of your family.
with Sith powers or Sith magic? Or were they just living and working on Star Destroyers?
I'm going to assume they were living and working on Star Destroyers. He just had his loyalist faction on that planet hidden away and no one else knew about it. That's what I'm assuming, but I could easily be wrong because it's not explained because we gotta get through it. We gotta get through it.
Were all the people in the hoods and
I thought they were the embodiments of dead Sith that had come before. That was my interpretation, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I thought they were all like an illusion.
Well, it's the same thing.
Same basic thing.
Some character at some point said Palpatine was conjuring Star Destroyers, meaning they weren't being built in a giant space factory or
just willing them into existence?
Yes, slowly with Sith power.
That's stupid, but we are talking about Star Wars.
Because I think that was their cut around of people asking logical questions like who built the Star Destroyers. In Star Wars, you have the magic of the Jedi, which is in real Star Wars, right? The original.
Okay, yeah.
You have the magic of the Jedi that's always kind of like low key, subtle, and then you had the nuts and bolts kind of real world stuff, the X-wings and the Star Destroyers that break down, droids, things like that. And in this, they merged them because you sit there and you ask, who built? These are actual machines. They're actually spaceships. Like, who built them? There's 10,000 of them. Who is building them, and how did this go unnoticed?
See, it's Star Wars, and none of that is important, and that's kind of why I hate Star Wars.
Well, yes. I mean, this is like the nail in the coffin, as far as, with the exception of, Mandalorian.
That's a whole other discussion.
Mandalorian, a lovely departure from Star Wars. A great show.
It's not nonstop noise.
It's not perfect, but it's great in comparison to this. This is like a shit show. The more you think about it, and I think those tweets that we read at the beginning of this are people coming out of
They're
this
overwhelmed by stimulation.
Stimulation that you're there at the premiere and everyone's excited and oh my gosh,
you're seeing things
seeing things, yeah. And a lot of reviews were saying like fan service, and this wasn't very fan servicey to me.
I mean, it's building on things. It's reintroducing things from the other movies. Like Lando shows up. He's completely useless.
Yeah.
I was really distracted during the big end battle, not just from the fact that things were flying in every direction and there was no sense of geography, but like everyone's taken it so seriously. And when they cut to senile Lando, he's just like laughing because he doesn't know what he is.
I've always been amazed by the
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams.
I was like, oh, that's Lando. He had the mask on.
Oh, sure. Lando. Surprise, surprise.
He was walking.
Surprise, surprise, I'm Lando in disguise!
I think Billy D. Williams.
He has a cane. He can barely walk.
So it's like, hey guys, come on, run, get this thing. And he's got a little bar stool under him, and he's like, I'm kind of.
Wouldn't have
that's
Lando.
But
the worst in terms of fan service, as far as like something that took me right out of the movie, was at the end when Maz Kanata gives Chewbacca his
the medal after 40 years.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Why did she have it? Why would she give it to him at this moment? It's for the audience's sake.
They got lost in the She found it in the same spot she found Luke's lightsaber.
Oh, yeah. But that's a story for another time that we never got to.
Nope. Well, but yeah. Maz Kanata had Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
Janitor.
It's a story for another time. It was in her mystery box.
Oh man, how was that as a fuck you to Ryan Johnson when Luke Skywalker shows up in this? Rey tries to throw her lightsaber away and he catches it. He's like, this is the most fucking important thing ever. And he looked right at the camera and flipped off Ryan Johnson.
Hey guys! Wow.
Watching the whole thing together, I freaked. Yeah, and I freaked out. I'm like, this doesn't track. You can't follow what's happening. You can't follow what the big stakes are. I got really scared.
Well, Luke had a change of heart since then, right? He became one with the Force. He's a little more chill. He's less like bitter and cynical. As
Doing like no damage, dude. That's sucking this game.
You actually got a Luke Skywalker storyline that he's
It's the most interesting idea that movie has.
And everybody hates it. They ruined Luke Skywalker.
I still think you could have made a good arc out of it. You still could have gotten to a point where he's accepted the Force again. But it's a character arc, and you get to that point in like the third movie.
Yeah, just the fact that he acknowledges something that was unintentionally made clear in the prequels, which is that the Jedi are kind of awful. Like the fact that he mentions that in The Last Jedi is like, okay, that's interesting. But now it doesn't matter. Here, Rey, have your lightsaber again.
They just left him in a really poor position.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of little slights at Ryan Johnson in this. The Snoke in a tank for sure was one. The lightsaber bit.
Well, Ryan Johnson created Snoke, though.
Right.
That's because, because nothing matters. That was the driving force of that movie. Rey's parents are nobody. Snoke doesn't matter. All these things that were set up in the last movie don't matter. So yeah, there's nothing to do after that.
He's trying so hard.
You scramble and you make a movie that feels rushed. You're trying to introduce a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And have it pay off.
It's overcompensating too. Because all you gotta do is, if that's your plan, is to like, okay, let's fix all these things that everybody hated about The Last Jedi. You can do that without shoving 15 other story ideas into it.
Well, yeah. The idea that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter, right? The whole time she thought, I don't know, maybe they should throw in some clues, like, oh, maybe you're part of a Skywalker family, you know?
Well, if somebody smart were in charge from the beginning and planned this out, maybe you could have done
No,
that.
I'm saying from Last Jedi.
Okay.
You're starting with this.
Yeah.
You could do that. You could play with that Rey backstory a little, mold it, change it a little differently. But what Jay is saying, and what I agree with, is the entire cast, other than Rey, Palpatine, Kylo Ren, and maybe Leia to a certain extent, are all completely useless. Finn and Poe and Rose and C-3PO and Chewbacca, Lando, everyone's useless. They're given the bulk of the story, which is to to track down some guy who's sent to kill his parents because you might have the Wayfinder, which could lead. That's what we're searching for to get to the thing.
We gotta go get a thing that'll tell us how to find a thing that'll take us to another thing.
And Palpatine didn't need 10,000 starships to blow up every planet, and like all that shit was in there. So then they could have a space battle, and then you had 2.5 hours to flesh out.
We're almost
this
halfway.
Convoluted, because there's a little scene where
well, that's technically not true anymore, right? Fuck. Did more levels.
The scene where they're kind of forced talking again.
She sees the Vader helmet, stuff like that. That was good.
Yeah.
But
whole Star Destroyer confrontation.
Yeah. Have a handful of scenes like that, and one or two little action scenes that are, remember when they went to the Burning Man festival? I mean, what was that?
That was where they had to go to get the thing that would tell them where the other thing was.
Yeah, and there were so many, like, we got to get the thing to get the thing to get the thing, and it's like, and all of that just confused.
I'm just following these guys. I have no idea where everything is.
And the whole emotional stuff.
That's the downside about it returning, right? I don't remember Jack.
his relationship
We're trying.
with Leia, he's
Nearly.
still wavering between if he's good or bad. Rey is also
pretty much
kind
on
of
the
not
bottom of
sure
her
who she is, whether or not she's failing at her Jedi training. Remember, she couldn't hit the ball, and then she had to hit the ball with her spear. I always thought the end of that spear looked like a lightsaber. Turns out it was.
That's great.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, is that she built her lightsaber out of? Yeah. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that.
It really does.
The whole ending of this movie, like, I had no sense of where anyone was. Everyone's just flying, and there's 5,000 Star Destroyers. And then we cut to Palpatine,
And they gotta
and it's
blow
just
up
flashing
just
light.
the one for some reason.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, and that's another, like, just 80-yard line. They blow up that one, and then there's, like, some line of dialogue about how, like, everyone in the entire galaxy is now destroying all the other Star Destroyers.
For some reason, and I don't understand this at all, none of the Star Destroyers could leave the Sith planet.
You know, here's why.
Unless they had the navigational beacon from the other Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
They can't just say, point their ship at a star and just go that way. They're just stuck there. I don't know why.
They were all interlinked because it was hard. Poe had a line about it.
Of course he did. One line, right?
And it was, they can't all leave the planet because their navigation's too hard.
You just turn your back to the planet and start going in a direction.
Although all their ships came to the planet and left at the end. Without any problem.
What are we talking about now?
All the giant fleet of all the ships from all over the universe.
Oh,
yeah. At the end. But they all fought the battle of the planet, but then they also just left.
Yeah.
At the end. So they didn't need a navigational beacon. But remember, they were going to blow up that navigational beacon, and then the bad guy, General Prime, was on to it. So they switched it to the main ship. And then they just shot a gun at the main ship and blew it up.
Couldn't once they know they're going to get blown up, can't they just switch it to a different ship? Can't they switch it to like 8 different ships? Oh, switch it to each individual ship. There you go.
We haven't gotten all the navigational beacons in stock yet. They're on order.
He hasn't willed them into existence yet.
Yeah, he's still working on it. Why did you wait? Why didn't you do that first, Palpatine? It takes him like a year of dedicated concentration with Sith magic to will a Star Destroyer into existence.
Oh, Palpy? Can we just talk about Palpatine? The part that made me laugh the hardest
Are we done?
was when he just
Oh, we're
shot
not done.
his Force lightning up into space, and it flew everywhere. It's such a shame, too, because there's like a couple moments early on in this movie where the
What?
two of them are interacting, and it's like, these guys are great together. And then, like, Adam Driver's great, like, Richard E. Grant, who was General Pride or whatever Pride, he's a great actor. And it's all just in service of nothing.
We don't know much about General Pride. No, just mean and evil incarnate. Never smile once.
Like, all these good actors.
That's why they go off and do movies like Marriage Story.
That's true. In between doing big Disney films.
Adam Driver, Star Wars pays for his mansion, you know. Marriage Story pays for his coffee.
Did anyone notice, because I've generally liked Daisy Ridley in these movies, but in this one, she seems checked out. There's a part when she's on the ruins of the Death Star.
She's been getting hate for how long has it been now?
That's true. It could be
6
some
years?
of that. Yeah. Her character's a Mary Sue, so I hate her as a human being. But there's a part when she's on the ruins of the Death Star, and there's that moment where she's fighting the dark version.
I'm confused. What the
herself,
fuck just happened?
You know, and the dark version has the double-sided lightsaber or whatever. She looks like she's laughing. She looks like she's holding back laughing when she pulls out that red lightsaber. It's like she doesn't care anymore, does she?
I think they said have a devilish grin.
That didn't come across at all.
Yeah, it came off as her thinking this whole thing was a farce. Man, it's true. But no, yeah, she. I mean, I think in the very first movie, you know, she's a relatively unknown actress in the first movie, so she was giving it her darndest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're probably right.
She's done. She's over this shit. Well, that was something too that came out recently, right? Like in interviews where all these main actors were saying like they're done with Star Wars after this. Finn was like, I don't want to be Disney Plus or something like that.
What would it take to get you to come back to do Finn again?
In what?
I mean, I don't know if Finn is...
Well, you ain't gonna Disney Plus me. I ain't getting no Disney Plus.
How did Rey know where that little farmhouse was?
She's just there. She found it on Google. Some TV show.
Don't think about it. It's emotional. It's emotional.
The Force. The Force.
The Force.
Oh, the Force.
Force emotions. Force emotions.
Remember, Leia and Luke's ghosts were hanging out there, so they guided her.
Oh, okay, that's fair. And why was that random lady just in the middle of fucking nowhere?
So that she could say the line, "Mine, Rey Skywalker."
I'm just a Skywalker now. I've just decided.
They made her old because she's wandering around the desert. She goes. That's her path to go shopping and come back to her house. She goes past the old Skywalker or Lars homestead many times.
I'm shocked that wasn't a callback to somebody.
There's very few characters it could be.
What's Watto?
I'm so lost as to what's going on.
Watto.
I have no idea what's happening.
It could have been that super old lady who said, "My bones are aching, Annie. There's a storm coming." Do you remember her?
No.
You don't?
I don't remember. I've seen
bones are aching. Is that what she says?
She warns them of the dust storm that's coming.
Okay.
Oh, my bones are aching. Storm's coming up, Annie. You better get home quick.
So Rey's a Skywalker because she just decided to be.
Well,
I know
it's
thematically
fine.
what they're doing, but it's just like
she chose the lightness over the dark.
Yeah, the Skywalkers are all that exists.
It got very Jedi at the end. You know, join me.
Oh, where it's like anticlimactic and not very good. Yeah.
No, Return of the Jedi.
They just blatantly redid the throne room scene from Return of the Jedi.
Because he opens up the ceiling so that she could see the space battle.
Yeah.
Your friends are going to die. And, you know,
just with lots more strobe lights.
Yes. And join me.
I don't have a
Those are the more interesting stuff in the movie. Everything, every other person did. Remember the magic space dagger?
Oh God, that disappeared.
Oh yeah. No, well that guided them to the wreckage of the Death Star, and then I guess it's not important after that, right?
No, remember she held the dagger up and the little thing came out.
Yeah.
And she held it up.
And it made the shape of it. It was like the Goonies.
I guess it just wasn't important after that. Yeah.
It was to help her find where the wayfinder is, the little Borg cube, Borg thing. It looked like a Borg nodule thing that's in the Borg ship.
Why was it a dagger? I was waiting for her to have to stab Palpatine with it.
That was probably in the...
Like one of the edits, one of the
Yeah, there's things like that. Like at the end when Lando, that girl sits next to him. I thought that it was going to be like revealed that that's his daughter or something. I was going to feel like maybe that's something that was in
I'm assuming that's just we don't have time.
It's possible.
Why even put that in the movie then? Why have Lando meet this random character?
Why have Poe's old flame show up? Why have that random character at all? Why have the horses?
Yeah.
There's so much that should have just been cut out.
So the magical space dagger, where did that get found?
That got found on the planet with all the rave dancers.
After they got sucked down into the leaves to find it.
That whole section of the movie felt like more Indiana Jones to me than anything else.
Now we're done.
There's quicksand, and then there are underground tunnels, and
there are some archeological stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone started disappearing like the lift. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck?
Putting the staff of
It ain't over
Ron
and nobody
the
actually
hole.
left. I'm confused.
The sun shines through the thing, and
When was that dagger made?
it had Sith runes on it.
It knew to line up with the crashed remains of the Death Star. And it's got ancient Sith runes on it.
The Force, Rich.
Oh, the Force. It's not sloppy writing. It's the Force.
The little that comes out like alters its shape.
But the grooves on the dagger lined up with the wreckage on the Death Star.
In the future, it knew the future.
The Force. Yeah, the Force. Oh, that's so dumb.
But that dagger, C-3PO interpreted it because he wasn't programming, didn't allow him to speak Sith language.
That's why they had to go to the World War II village, and they had to wipe his memory. Somebody thought that was funnier than it was, them wiping his memory.
No, they wanted to give C-3PO a heroic moment. That was his sacrifice
Yeah,
for
but
the
then
greater
after
cause.
that, then there's so many jokes about him not remembering anything.
When I was editing our last video, I was watching an interview with Anthony Daniels, and he said he constantly tried to get George Lucas to give C-3PO some kind of moment.
Oh.
And it was like, how about C-3PO does this? I tried to give him a little humanity. And George's response was always, he's always scared. He would come up to George Lucas again, and George, here's a moment where C-3PO could save the day. And, no, he's always scared.
That moment in
Like,
this,
it's great listening to. I don't particularly like Anthony Daniels. I think he's kind
He's
of
a
full
little
of himself.
arrogant, yeah.
But that when he tells that story, George just shut him down every time. He's always scared. Shut up. And then he eventually figured out. So that was probably Anthony Daniels. You go put do something heroic in my final film as the world's greatest character ever invented, because I play him.
that moment too, and it was in the trailer where they're about to wipe his memory. He's like, I'm saying, looking at my friend for one last time.
Friends that hate you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing in the trailer. I was like, I'm assuming, out of context in the trailer, that this is they're pulling memories of him with like Luke and Leia and Han from when he was younger. Oh no, but he's talking about this new character that he barely knows that hated him.
But yeah, the C-3PO interprets the language on the dagger, and it says to go to Endor, the moon of Endor. The moon of Endor.
It's not Endor. I guess it did, yeah. Yeah.
Moon of Endor.
Okay.
Endor is the forest moon, and I think the Endor system is a bunch of planets,
Yeah.
because they show several planets.
They're not on the Ewok planet.
No,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
I don't think so.
No, well, we see that at the very end.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess it crash landed on a different planet, even though it's the orbit of Endor.
J.J. Abrams doesn't like space. He doesn't want to understand space.
I just assumed, like you did, we talked about this, when the Death Star wreckage crashed on Endor, it obliterated the forest for decades.
Yeah.
So that's why it was all kind of like you know,
Flat.
flat and dead grass and stuff. So I really don't know. It was on, but basically the knife, the magical Sith dagger, said to go there to find one of the little triangles.
You need a MacGuffin to find a MacGuffin.
There are several MacGuffins, and that's the Sith Wayfinder, which looks like a Borg device to me. It's glowing green, and it's like a physical device, which is so weird that the Sith would need like a...
For an ancient magical...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a Sith or you're in tune with the dark side of the Force, the story logic would just assume you would be led.
What do you need? You know what? I'm just delighted when Star Wars ever decides not to resort to space magic. So I'm fine with it.
All right. But yeah, so the Emperor had one on the Death Star in his little closet because he was a clone of an ancient being known as Palpatine. He should have changed his name when he became Chancellor and took over the galaxy. He should have called himself like Bob Smith or something.
Assuming your clone theory is what happened, we still don't know.
Technically have to go
really
eat.
Sure. Everything happens so fast.
I still think it might be his corpse from, well, at least his charred body from the Death Star explosion.
He landed on his fingers.
He fell fingers first.
I broke it.
He was falling into the core, and then when it blew up, that pushed him like away, and that's why he survived.
Flew out of space.
He flew out into space after that.
He was shooting lightning so furiously it burned all of his fingers down to like nuts.
Yeah.
The heart of the original movies is those characters. And, even though I don't love Return of the Jedi, all the stuff with Luke and the Emperor and Vader is great. It's emotional, and this is
This is so similar to Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, while good, has its flaws. Its flaws come in the second and third act. The opening, John Boyega's got to rescue Han, and an adventure. And then after that, they have nothing to do with the characters other than Luke.
Yeah.
Leia becomes a basic, like, ground troop person.
And Han is there also.
And their epic love romance is now just them. We got to break into this bunker. And then the idea of a second Death Star is goofy, and we have nothing for Han and Leia and C-3PO and Chewbacca and R2-D2 to do.
Yeah.
Except for do all these things at the same time. And that's essentially this movie. We have nothing for Finn, Poe, Rose, C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8, Eeyore. Or Igor.
Well, they're still, they have nothing for those characters, and they're still introducing new characters. Presumably, some J.J. Abrams can pay his friends.
Yes, they add the lady who rides around on a horse, that stormtrooper. Her name is
Zana.
Oh yeah, Zana or Lana.
I know that live action figure.
Okay,
It's not Zana. The two new characters in this are Zana and Zori.
I think so.
Really?
Someone's getting lazy.
Maybe one's Yanni.
I have stock of Yanni.
Remember I thought that they went to that virtual planet to meet Zori Bliss, the bounty hunter, because she had components for the time travel machine.
Oh. I would have wholeheartedly welcomed time travel. Instead of, we gotta go to the place to get the thing that will lead us to the other thing.
It would have made for a bigger mess.
Yeah. I would have loved it bigger.
I'd say the final act was a pretty big mess, just visually, viscerally. That's when it got kind of like fun shit. It's just like nonsense, and the Emperor's hamming it up.
Yeah. His McDermott's
He's always great.
If he was a little more technical, I would have read it more. I wouldn't have put the tone properly.
They definitely
Yes, it
I
does.
like the atmosphere that Hope Basie was in too. How much dark and moody. I guess I figured out what it was when they turned on the strobe lights.
But those two Jedi, the rest of our characters are doing a thing to destroy a thing. Right? You gotta go from the shield generator. You walk out, and the battle starts, and Vader's confronting the Emperor. Vader's confronting the Emperor.
They got the technically they even have like the ground battle segment when they have to storm the top of the Star Destroyer.
With not primitives. But,
They got horses.
They got horses. So there's an element that
Finally,
non-technological.
jeez, that took forever.
They're just people that are riding around horses and living off the land because they're former stormtroopers. So so there's an Ewok-y thing going on there.
That J.J. Abrams.
Rich, you
He knows how to remake other people's movies.
said it a million times. Star Wars is
Creatively bankrupt.
Finn, early on in this movie, says, "Ray, I have to tell you something," and they think they're gonna die, and then he never tells her.
I don't know why they left it in the movie, but I'm assuming they were going for like a love plot. Like
Sure.
he
Well, that's
left
his whole
her.
thing. Is like in the first two movies, yeah, he's always concerned about where's Ray, what's happening to Ray, how's Ray.
But if you're not gonna have a payoff
If you're
for
not
that,
gonna pay off, just cut it out.
that out. Yes.
They ran out of time, Rich. The movie's coming out in 2 days. You gotta just stop editing.
Was there so much in the movie that they just couldn't edit? They couldn't edit it properly.
And that's some of the stories. They're saying that, yeah, there's just lots of different edits and re-edits of this movie, so who knows?
He's trying to tell her he's gay.
Talk to
So
me.
we have the first gay Star Wars.
We had that.
There was
Two out-of-focus females in the background kiss. So progressive. Way to go, Disney.
There's that old
Damn it.
There's
Okay.
that old lady, the bird lady. Yeah.
I will be back
She
an hour or two.
a lesbian.
Because I need to, yeah,
Wasn't
need
a
to go
main
eat.
character. they wrote off Poe as not being gay because
DJ hungry.
he did that thing where he's like, hey, Kerry Russell.
Yeah, I'm just gonna knock out the rest of the 30+ levels I need, right? So come back later. I love you all. See you in a few hours.